They can.
All right, it was good seeing you guys. Good
They can
night.
see us. There we go.
I'm lying down. A lot of energy here. Thanks, Ian.
It's very early.
Not early enough.
And poor Nick, he has the night shift.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
Ian's like, no, 9 a.m.
9
9
9
a.m.
9.
I must bring the funny.
I must bring it.
Just
Prepare for the funny.
Just bring out that extra spare funny you keep in your back pocket real quick.
That's right.
Of course.
That's right. Okay. It's early. It's really early. It's super early. Let me just address the elephant in the room real quick before we start off on our weeks. Which I think we can do at least 2 spoiler casts. But that's fine. Let's start off with the elephant. Thank you to everyone who has donated to Underling Uprising and or checked it out.
Hey, thank you.
I greatly appreciate it. It's really cool.
So exciting, dude. I'm so excited for it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I know, and I know that doesn't sound like I'm like popping off, right? But like it's early and I haven't had coffee. And let me just get some numbers down real quick. As of today in in April 28th at 9:11 a.m. PST.
About it.
The Lord's time zone. We are at 76 backers and $8,814.
Ooh-wee.
And there's still 27 days to go. That's wild. That's wild. Thank you very much, everybody.
I mean, this is going to be huge. This is going to be huge, guys.
It's going to be big. It's going to be big.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's wild. It's humbling. I haven't been paid for writing until fairly recently in my life. Past year or so. So it's cool.
Feels good. Feels very grown up.
Yeah, it feels stuff. Now to just figure out how to monetize this podcast. Right.
Raid Shadow Legend.
Raid Shadow Legend. Apparently the money's not what it used to be.
Okay.
We can't buy a house with the amount they've been.
Can we do the do? Maybe that'll be
Dude, I want it so bad. I want that sponsorship. Before this whole thing goes under, I want to be sponsored by Mountain Dew. Like, so bad.
With my dying breath, I will take your money.
The money.
I just want a free pallet or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so other than that, the elephant's been addressed.
Yeah.
Check out the Kickstarter below. It's a beat 'em up. Free. There's a demo on Steam. There's a demo on Itch. The Steam version works only on PC, but the Itch version works on both PC and Mac. So, other than that, let's get started. So here's my prediction for what the 2 spoiler casts are going to be. And I want to see if it's true with Ian. Nick and I both watched The Batman. And have you not?
I have. I'm very excited. I'm very excited
to
talk about that.
And Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Holy shit, let's do it now. Yes.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So that's what I'm going to ask. Are we going to do that towards the end, or we want to do those 2 movies now?
Whatever your preference. What are you guys thinking? Toward just as a part of the regular like breakdown, we could talk that top or bottom. I don't care, guys. But I'm very excited to talk about Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
To be sure.
How about this? Let's book and no. Okay. Let's leave at least an hour of the podcast to those 2 spoilers at the end.
All
That
right.
way people can keep watching and then like tune out once the spoilers
All
happen
right.
in case
Yeah.
you haven't seen it.
Sounds good.
So we'll make our kind of time short. So Nick, you weren't on the last one, right? So
Nope.
all right, you go first.
What? Well, okay.
What'd you do, man?
Okay.
Yeah, what's up?
Usual life stuff, and then in terms of media
Oh.
consuming, well, I mean, some of it's gonna overlap with Chris, so
Uh-huh.
I'll just go over some of it. So, I don't
Ah.
know if in my podcast.
Such a.
I'm
such
sorry.
Anyway, it was good seeing you guys.
a-
No, we did finish Ranking of Kings.
Oh yeah, I did. I forgot.
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
Ranking of Kings. The general gist is that
Mhm.
it is about a medieval setting in which a prince of a king.
Well, medieval
recently
fantasy. It's like super
Oh,
fantasy.
fantasy.
Yeah.
It's super fantasy.
Yeah.
There is a lot of magic,
Yeah.
a lot of summonings, but also at the same time, a lot of very intense wars happening with a very
Mhm.
cutesy art style.
Mm.
But essentially, it's about the prince of a past king who is deaf and is rejected by society.
Mm.
Has to find his own. Essentially, like him, his hero's journey is like finding his own path.
Yeah.
And along the way, like just along the way, it's just like him trying to prove that he's worth being of royalty. I mean, the best part of that show was the characters.
Characters in animation.
Animation. Oh yeah, dude, the
Slash
last
art
two
style.
episodes were fantastic.
Yeah, the animation art
the
style
visual?
are 10 out of 10. Like, just based off that. Well.
Okay, but
What? Okay, yeah,
okay.
man.
I'm kidding, Chris. I'm kidding.
Story's
Anyway.
bad.
I mean, it's good.
No, it's good.
I wish I liked it more than I ended up
Yeah.
doing, but
Yeah, for the
I
way
think it was
people were
just
talking
like,
about it.
What was kind
Yeah.
of its shortfall for you guys? What was like the thing that kept it from
Basic?
being?
the last episode.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. There's one really big fucking problem I have with that show.
Mhm.
But I mean, let's talk about the positives real quick, right? But yeah, Nick's right. It leaves like a little bit to be desired. I don't know. Cuz it's a shonen, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah, it's shonen. It's very
Okay.
shonen.
Okay. And it does play out like that. Granted, it's like it kind of hits the beats and then stuff happens. It is a cool take on the power level thing.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's more about how you use the what you're given.
Okay.
So like, what's his name? Boji, Boji, is a small little boy. Like he is small, way smaller than anyone else in the show.
Because
Mhm.
he's a normal sized child with his parents being fucking giants.
Yeah, they're giants. Everyone's these tall, like medieval warriors and shit. And then like, yeah, so he does not have any of the strength that anyone else has, but he does have speed. He's really good at dodging and
Mhm.
can read movements really well.
Mhm.
And that kind of lends into this kind of like precision style fighting where you go for weak points
Okay.
and look for kind of the fractures and everything.
Mhm.
And so there's that, and go on adventures. A lot of like little political stuff, like the idea that a king has to be more of a symbol and has to show strength rather than saying like, "Yo, believe me, he's strong," and proving it.
Mhm.
There's a really good thing where it's not just good enough to win a fight. You have to like show you're winning by like brute strength,
Mhm. Mhm.
because that builds a lot more confidence. And that's an interesting take on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the characters are great. You grow to love them. You grow to in the short span that they're there, and it feels short because it's only 24
Does.
episodes, right?
Yeah.
For shonen, which you know what I'm fine with get out because I honestly don't know what else the story could be like after the ending.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It would have to be some brand new adventure, like with new threats and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I feel so lukewarm on it. Like I thought I had a good time playing. There's not much to say other than the one big problem I have.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean, oh, we mentioned there's magic. There's no real system. It's kind of like old school magic where shit just happens.
Okay.
Like there's separate people that
Mhm.
just are like their own lineage of magic.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think I told Chris like literally when the last episode ended, where I said that I think Ranking of Kings tries its hardest to build up to an event, and that event kind of falls flat.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
Because
see that.
clearly, because it's a shonen thing, right? Some shonens like Naruto and One Piece have that thing where they build up to a fight. Like there's clearly, like there's a build up to Naruto facing pain, or there's a
Right.
build up
Yeah.
in a certain arc,
Mhm.
and I think when that sort of the changed hero and the main villain meet up
Mhm.
in Ranking of Kings, I think it was just okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the real fight is between the father and the son, but
Yeah, that was the best one.
yeah, it's the best fight by far. I like the shield fight though. The
Oh, that
shield
was sick.
versus the three dogs.
Mm.
But yeah,
Like.
it's so the art style is great. It does not shy away from how fucked up war is, especially
Okay.
in medieval,
Okay.
which is good because I think that's a problem with a lot of shonen anime and war anime. Like, is the idea like no, I don't think you get how bad it gets. It's not just it's way beyond just like the loss of villages and towns and castles or whatever. It's
Mhm.
a displacement of. There's literally a displacement of people. They become refugees, and they are treated awfully because it's two cultures that do not mix like at
Jeez.
all. And it goes as bad as you think it does. Um, this idea of using a group of people, and then just massacring them because you know what you use them for, you know what they're capable of,
Mhm.
and so it's better if they're not a problem for you. Like, and just this whole thing, right? And it doesn't shy away from that. Granted, it doesn't meditate on it.
Mhm.
It kind of just shows the horrors of it.
But it's touched upon.
But it is touched upon. So that is appreciated.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, can we talk about the messed up thing?
Yeah, please.
Huge spoiler, and yeah, let's go.
Oh, okay. Let me I'll put a spoiler thing. You know what, Nick? How long you want to take to talk about? Like 5 minutes? 5, 10?
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
hang on.
five's enough, really.
Okay. Um.
They all eat babies. That's the twist, guys.
Well, hang on.
Oh
And
Close enough.
god. Oh god.
so for podcast listeners, skip to about 5 minutes from here, and in 3, 2, 1. Yo, so there's this kid, and we don't know how old he is, and he marries this older woman, in the in the thing, and she's definitely older than him.
Ooh.
Like
And what? The kid's like 12.
the kid's 12.
Yeah.
The kid's like 12 or 13. He's
He's not a
definitely older
teenager.
than Boji. But he's not. Yeah, yeah.
No,
I don't know.
Boji's older.
No, oh, that's right. Boji is older.
Boji's older because when she married into royalty, she had
It's even weirder. Yeah, because he's the
yes.
firstborn.
Yeah.
And then there's
That make him like what, 9?
Yeah, or no, okay, so we don't know how old Boji is, because they do this thing. Okay, it's a really nice thing about Ranking of Kings. I probably should have mentioned it out of the spoiler thing, where when people are deaf and they don't know how to speak like actual words, or know how the sounds work, when speeches or kind of all the cadences, and it's just kind of replicating lip reading and what you think it would be. That people perceive you as dumb. And
Okay,
that
well, that's probably
this
historically true in some way.
Yes. That, and it's always been a thing. It's always been a problem. So that's what kind of makes Boji seem younger than he is.
Okay.
Because everyone, and he's also kind of like really nice and naive, and that in its qualities that you give to a child, and like, he's definitely older than the guy who marries. This woman who's been around since his dad's time is the same age as his dad. But here's the thing. Okay, so here's how they get around it. It's a magic thing. So she hasn't like aged physically, but that's not the fucking problem. The problem is mentally. She has lived as long as his father.
Yeah.
Granted in different forms, in both like an ethereal, kind of like magical form or sometimes as a puppet.
Right.
Because she technically died, like, at probably around. No, it's still the dad's age, so she must have like died a little bit older, right? And then, and I know the whole medieval thing that marriage is up in the air, like, but like the mom's cool with it, and then, oh, it's fucking weird. It's really, I don't like it, and it comes out of nowhere
as the solution.
As the
all people's problems. All the problems will be solved if I marry this 40-year-old woman. Yes, I am 12 years old.
Chris taking a really bold stand against child marriage.
I feel like I go crazy whenever I do this shit, like, because I see it in so many things, right?
I know.
Like, where it's just no, that's a weird age thing, and again, it's number it does become a problem at a certain point in the gap. Most of the time, it's because it's reflective of mental states and where you're at.
Right.
Like, you can be the same age as a person, but mentally, you're just not on the same level, and that becomes a problem.
Right.
Yo, man. Yeah, that ending kind of like leaves a real sour fucking taste. Like after,
and yeah, it's the shonen thing also. Like she doesn't really get a full punishment.
No,
other than a single sentence. And then we're gonna spend the rest of our lives helping people.
No. Although,
so
okay. Go ahead.
What's the repercussion? What's her like punishment for having done this?
So here's the thing: you find out she had a real messed up past. Everyone does in the show, but she also does these little actions that kind of help them out. It's kind of a nice thing in the show where people have actions that sort of contradict what you think they would go through if they were on a linear path. Because they have history, they have stuff, and that's actually a really nice aspect of the show. Again, the characters are the best part.
Yeah.
And so she gets that, so you're supposed to forgive her at the end. But I mean, like, there's still work, especially for all the shit she does.
Right.
Like, it's not over. Like, you still got stuff to do. No, it's weird, man. It's that kid's like, I'm gonna marry this woman, and then he's carrying her in his arms, and like, how are you hanging on? How old is?
How strong is this child?
I don't. You know what? At this point, I don't know because he lost his strength. Okay, so we hit the 5-minute mark. So real quick, I'm just gonna look up the age. Hang on.
Well, Prince Boji is 14.
Okay, wow. Okay, that was expecting. Oh, that means he's got to be like 13 or 12.
Yeah, he would have to be.
That's weird, 12. Man.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, that's nasty. It's illegal.
Nasty and a pasty.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, everyone's gonna I don't know what this consensus was at the end, but I mean, people were like hyping up this show as like
Yeah,
this
like
is the new shit. This is the new hot shit,
Yeah.
and I thought it was all right. I think the animation is top notch.
Yeah.
Animation fights top notch. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 is all that. Yeah, that ending though, huh? What's with this, man? I start these animes that are like start off real good and no one knows how to fucking end.
Endings are hard, dude.
Endings are hard. I know that, and right, like, but I feel like I've been doing this for so long, right, that I thought it would have evened out. And it's like, no, it really is hard. No,
that probably made me. Yeah, that probably made me appreciate Watanabe's stuff more because he knows how to stick landing for his endings.
Yeah, because he knows how it's gonna end.
Yeah,
he knows how his shows are gonna end.
Yeah, I do appreciate he only works on stuff he has a clear vision for.
Yeah,
he taps out from the industry.
Yeah,
that happened with Carol and Tuesday and Space Dandy.
Yeah, where he comes in, blows everyone's mind, and then
taps out.
I'm out of here.
I'm gone again. Still riding on the Cowboy Bebop money.
No, it's Champloo now.
Oh, it's a champ. Does Champloo make more money than Bebop?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Bebop feels so ever present. Maybe because we're in the West.
Yeah. Maybe.
And that because it feels so fucking ever present, right? Like I love Bebop, but yeah, it's you won't escape it.
It feels as important to the canon of like the medium as like I would say The Office is to American sitcom. You know what I mean? Like it's foundational.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I can say that. I can definitely say that. But yeah, that was Ranking of Kings. Nick, what else did you check out? Because again, I got nothing else to say. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Leave it at that. In terms of shows, I'm almost done with the 3rd season of Castlevania, and then
cool.
Yeah,
I'm very excited for you. Let me know.
Yeah, all I'll say is, man, what a choice in acting. I had no idea Lance Reddick was going to be in it.
Yeah. What's it? Why do I always forget his name? The bald one. He was Dracula's right-hand man as the torture test.
The necromancer.
Yeah, not the silver hair dude, not the one that goes with the vampires. The bald guy. Anyway, he's the best character in the show. There's no.
Oh, Isaac.
Isaac. Yeah, because they give him a biblical name.
Yeah.
He's so best character in the show. No, hands down, no questions asked. Like
he's definitely more. I mean, so far he's definitely more interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So let me know where you're gonna get to a monologue with one of the characters, and you'll know what that monologue is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I can't wait. Let me know. I don't want to say anymore. I don't want to say.
Nope.
Yeah. So far, I really like the dynamic with 3 sister vampires.
Yeah, that's a pretty great one.
And with Hector.
Mm-hmm. 4 sisters.
4 sisters. My bad.
Yeah.
With Carmilla, Lenore.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2. No. The. Yeah, it was just really cool.
No, they're not. It's 3 sisters.
3 sisters,
right? Because they get married on the field. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Never mind. You're right.
But yeah, this whole scrounging for we know where Dracula's, or it's everyone trying to figure out how they can take advantage of Dracula being dead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whole some people want to keep him dead and take the power. Some people want to bring him back and work under him.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Also, the way them realizing the way they live their lives, and their existence, right,
Yeah.
means that it can't last forever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right? There is a ceiling,
Mhm.
and they may or may not have hit it, like with the way technology is and the amount of people there are. Right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
and the whole
really cool
thing.
idea to explore.
Yeah. I also thought what took me by surprise is that they brought in Taka and Sumi and like kind of like the Japanese lore with vampires.
Yeah, that was a really nice touch.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, I wonder if that's sent up to some of the Igarashi stuff, because I feel like that was in there, but to the games, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought so too at the when I was watching it, and then
Yeah.
I saw like some stuff where I was thinking, wait, are they taking from 2 now instead of Symphony of the Night?
Yeah, they kind of take from a lot of things. It's never just one, right?
Yeah,
So
I know there's a whole list, but I think like so far the only ones I'm noticing is all the stuff from 2.
yeah, that's the biggest inspiration. Plus, I think it has the most story,
That's true.
like out of anyone.
If we don't count the Cursed Moon,
Yeah, if we don't count Igarashi's DS stuff, which are way more story driven.
Yeah.
So, or the PS3 chain. What's the chains or the Lords of Shadow?
Child of the Damned, Lord's the Child of the Damned, Lord's the Shadow. Yeah,
Yeah,
Dracula shoots laser out of his eyes.
yeah.
Hell
No, this. Yeah, yeah. This. No, the show, it really does take its own thing. Does its own thing.
Yeah,
And it's a great show. It really is.
yeah. So yeah, I'll definitely have more to say when I finish the seasons.
Yeah.
But so far, I'm really liking it.
Those fights are awesome. Like,
Yeah, they got way better. I
Yeah.
really like them.
really good.
Yeah, in terms of fighting, I just love how they treat the vampires.
Yeah.
They're just really this freak of nature, like where like they're kind of just playing around with humans,
Yeah.
and you treat them like I don't know, like it's different because when the humans fight, they're trying to kill each other, but it feels
Yeah.
like with the vampires, they're trying to like mess around with their
Oh, they're
They're
playing
like-
with their food.
playing with their food. Yeah,
Yeah. It's that kind of thing. The kind of mouse or the cat playing with the mouse
yeah.
type deal.
Mhm.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
But nice. Excited for you. Let me know. Let me know where you get. Or
Yeah.
that comes along.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then trying to think on top of my head. Oh, I ended up watching the documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
I believe it was called Frozen. Frozen Head. Hang on.
Frozen
Okay.
head. It's the brave story of one
Hope-
head.
Hope Frozen: A Quest to Live Twice.
Tell me
is
more
that
about
about
this.
like the cryonics thing?
Yes. The
Okay, let me hear what you think, and then I might have to drop some knowledge on you, but I'll get.
Oh, okay.
But let me know. What you watched it?
Well, I mean, it's gonna get really awkward if I say like some praise and then you correct me, and I'm gonna look like a shit. So I'd rather
Okay,
just
do you want me to
acknowledge
just
it.
skip to my part then?
Just do your part and
It's
then
a
I'll
scam.
yeah, that's about right.
Okay, okay, so do they talk about that in the documentary?
No, I looked it up after.
Oh, okay, you did. Okay, because
Well,
there's
so
been
is the
multiple things.
documentary like is the documentary like super pro cryonics? Like
Yeah, you know what? That'll probably be a better starting point, right? Like, yeah, what is the documentary saying?
The documentary was saying that what now that you say it, now that we both have that knowledge, it comes across like they're using the story of his daughter, like the preservation of his daughter's head,
Yeah.
as a way to push to be pro.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, but even then, I remember watching it, and it was very. It didn't seem like it was pro. I think it was more like, not the act itself, but maybe it was more focused on the doctor himself and seeing like his reasoning. And it didn't come across like he was trying to say the scientist was right for the act.
Mhm.
It was more just seeing how people reacted to his actions, and
Okay.
especially that segment in the documentary where they compile all the clips of him on Thailand like news reports,
Yeah.
and him doing interviews saying, and the reporter saying that he's doing is an act against God, and it's not letting the spirit go free.
Yeah.
Now that's
And,
interesting. Now
and
that's
there's a
interesting.
line,
Yeah.
yeah, and there's a line where he says, where one interviewer says, "But you're not going to live to see her if this does work. Why would you even save her if she's going to have no parents?" And he said that it's not about. He said, "I didn't save her life to extend my own. I saved her life to extend her life and let her live her own, and make her own choices."
God damn.
And
Yeah. Which, so here's the thing, right? With doing that with the documentary is giving a kind of personal story like that. Which again, I like. This is not at all to talk down about the guy and the way he feels. He's making these choices because he's human and he's a parent, right?
Yeah.
But that's what this kind of stuff takes advantage of. It takes
Yeah.
advantage of that. Granted, these people who do this, who are doing the cryogenic stuff, wholeheartedly believe in the science, but it's banking on this idea that we're gonna improve it in the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
No matter how long that takes. And it's kind of this fallacy, because in the sense that, yeah, I guess so, right? If time is infinite, or if we have a lot of time on this earth, which actually seems a little bit less reasonable
Yeah.
every year, that, yeah, we will eventually hit it. It's this weird idealistic kind of like sci-fi of the 70s and 80s where we're just going to solve it all. It's going to be fixed. I don't have the imagination right now, or no, my imagination tells me we're going to do that, but we don't have the imagination to talk about all the problems, or maybe there is no solution to that, because that's also a thing in science, right? It's proving that no, this can't happen for a whole plethora of reasons. And it's banking off that and using the money because this shit is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot of space.
You also essentially pay indefinite rent, isn't it? Like you're renting the unit that you're frozen in.
And rent is so expensive. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's like we're talking hundreds of thousands or something, right? Rent is so expensive and so takes up space and has so much maintenance that some people, they just cut off the heads and preserve that because they think, if you just have the head in the future, we'll have the solution. They'll have a robot body or something. And again, fucking maybe, right?
Yeah.
But it's so just basing on, it's a lot of leaps that will just happen, and you're milking the money here and now. And it's weird. Okay, so go ahead.
I was gonna ask Nick, did the documentary kind of touch on the big issue that I had heard as far as the science is concerned with cryogenics is that essentially there is still an issue with cell damage in the freezing process. Like we can flash freeze and we can mitigate the damage, but we can't stop like the frost damage of our meat tissue. And that's like one other hurdle. Did it kind of touch on that at all as well? Because that's like one that I thought like, oh shit, that's really bad. I don't know how you solve cell damage on a cellular level.
But again, the future will fix it.
Exactly.
Well, in the documentary, they actually kind of go over how they preserve them, depending on, like Chris said, there is like an option to have it full body or have it just a head. And at least going off of the information given into the public, at the moment, there's at least Like as of 2014 in recordings, there's about 250 bodies in the world that are cryogenically frozen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you said 250?
250, yeah.
That's it? I thought there'd be more. Oh wow. Okay.
I know it used
And-
to be more, and I'll get to why I know that, but yeah, but Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, and this story is about the youngest patient or the youngest body, and it's of this daughter of the scientist's daughter who passed away from brain cancer
Yeah.
at birth, 2 years old. And in the documentary, they had moments where the family would visit the silo. They would visit the silo where the head is frozen in space, and then they would do like a Buddhist prayer and have like shrines in front of it.
Mhm.
And what was wild was that, well, in the documentary they explain a few years later when they had their second daughter, she was essentially the twin in terms of DNA, in terms of appearance to the daughter that passed away. Like near identical twin.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a moment where the second daughter is in front of the silo of the first daughter with the photo, and it's a lot more emotional than I thought it would be for a very scientific thing, but I think it's more just like Chris said, banking on the emotional part of it.
Yeah.
I will
And their
say I was
parents.
gonna say besides all that, I felt very uncomfortable when they started talking about the owners of the facility itself, right?
Yeah.
It felt off, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it did feel like there's a sort of a business focus aspect.
Yeah.
But again, like at least at the time of watching, I didn't
Yeah.
know about all this happening.
Mhm.
But even then, even watching it, you could probably tell like when the CEO of the facility and when the lead cryogenics expert is explaining to the scientists, it felt like he was explaining a car. Is how it came across to me. Like he's trying to sell you, the family, on the idea that eventually the daughter will hopefully have a chance to live.
Yeah.
Right.
But they don't really talk about what Ian was saying about, like, well, what would their damage be like
Mhm.
Right.
at
Who's
that time?
responsible? Who
And who would
becomes
be-
responsible at the end?
Yeah.
Because none of the people running the facility now won't
Yeah,
live.
we'll be there.
So
Well, guys, it works the way they did in Futurama. We find your next living relative, and
Yeah.
you're their problem now.
You're there.
yeah,
Dude. Yeah, no, I get you. And I trust that, like, because me and you, Nick, we've seen the business talk now, and like, so both in person as well as, fuck it, dude, we love video games, and you know what video game advertisements and platforms and stuff like E3 and showcases like to do? They like to do the business talk, and you can fucking tell at some point, right? You just hear
Yeah.
it.
You can
How they're
smell
just
the
not
pitch.
committing to anything. And when they do commit, oh, you know, like, it's the least believable thing you've ever heard. Like,
I think.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I think the best way I've seen it described in a lot of official reviews for this documentary is it's not really about cryogenic conservation or immortality or any of those subjects. It really is just like, it's just grief, and it just happens to be around cryogenics.
Yeah.
I think because of that, I can't brush it off and say, oh, it's a bad documentary because it's not accurate, or I can't say it sucks because it's a scam.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like, go ahead.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm fully equipped to
Mm.
to give like a full good or bad rating.
Well, I do
Okay,
think that
that's fair.
the documentary is more so a question of not it's not a documentary about the legitimacy of the science. It's a documentary about a family's response to grief.
Yeah.
And like it could easily I think what do you tell me if this is off base. But like if this documentary had actually been about like psychic mediums, but
Mhm.
everything else was the exact same, would it have more or less been a similar kind of deal? Like,
Mm.
I don't know.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Nick. What was that? You kind of faded out.
Sorry. I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
think it
Okay.
just-
That's what I was
Um,
curious about, right? Like,
Yeah, honestly, I think it just happens to fall. Yeah, it just happened to fall on cryogenics,
mm,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it just happens to be that subject.
yeah.
But it was definitely more about, or at least like more time was spent on him, especially at the last hour, the last 30 minutes really of the documentary is the father trying to explain his reasoning
Yeah.
to the public and kind of like the public perception of about preserving death and the soul and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And it always it sucks when your grief becomes the public's like story
Spectacle.
or drama, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
their tale to look at.
but yeah,
And you're not
overall,
left alone
like
with it.
absolutely. Yeah, overall, just overall, it was a fascinating documentary,
Hmm.
even if it is a scam. But
Yeah. So can I tell you how I learned about this kind of stuff?
Oh, please.
I am a big fan of the YouTuber Atrocity Guide.
Mhm.
I think she makes amazing deep dives into fucking bonkers subjects I can only call bonkers at some point. And she makes these amazing videos with sources, and you see all the work put in, and the way she delivers straightly. Some of the stuff she talked about, those people that fuck dolphins, and
Jesus Christ.
and just the delivery of, and that's when they started jerking off the dolphins is like great. But she did a documentary. I think her latest video, which was March 1st. It's embarrassing to die, the Immortalist story, and it's about all that, the movement and when it starts and where it's at now, and the cryogenics and all that. Kind of science as a religion type deal, you know, where you get to you get try to skirt around as well. It's science, it's not religion, so it makes more sense our thing. Even though it's the same exact takes and beliefs and leaps of faith you're making and ignoring stuff.
yeah,
It's a fantastic documentary, and I think it does show enough sympathy. It shows empathy. Sorry, not sympathy. Empathy for people who are grieving and are so scared of death, like that, and the meditation on it, or like in facing it. Right. It's amazing document. It's amazing. Yeah, I keep calling it a documentary because that's kind of what it is. It's amazing. It's called "It's Embarrassing to Die: The Immortalist Story" by Atrocity Guy. Highly recommend it.
nice.
Okay.
And just any of her stuff. She makes amazing things. Go watch that dolphin one. That dolphin one's wild.
Well, speaking of wild,
Yeah.
I'll leave this as the last thing since I don't want to take up too much time.
Okay.
No worries.
I watched both the Funkland and the HBO documentary for Class Action Park.
Oh, you hadn't seen the Defunctland one?
Ooh.
Man,
I saw the HBO one
Man.
recently too with you. Or,
Yeah.
Can we talk about that? Because I fucking love Defunct.
Yeah, I don't even think we need spoilers. It's bonkers. You could just keep saying shit, right? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, yo, man, Uncle Gene. That's
Uncle
the American dream.
Isn't he? He
The
is.
American dream.
Just throw money at every problem. until
Just
it goes
fucking.
away.
Here's a napkin, a line with a loop, We're gonna make that into a ride. It's a slide. It's a water slide. Oh my god, dude. What'd you take away from it, Nick? Because I could just go about like the teeth embedded in the fucking top.
Shredding children.
Yeah, and when they fixed it, people still came out with like skin torn off their skulls because their heads were bashing against the teeth embedded into the top of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
What a treat!
Class action part.
You know, it says a lot when you have a guy who was too scummy for Wall Street
In the 80s.
Right.
in the 80s.
And yeah, it's a Futurama reference. That guy who gets comes back to life and is a like Gordon Gekko type or like Wall Street 90s or 80s guy.
Yeah.
80s guy. Yeah, that's the era he was kicked out of for being too scummy.
Mm-hmm.
And just oh my god. The water is filled with snakes and dead fish because it's not cut off or anything from the reservoir.
Nope.
No, sir. So,
Also,
I have a bigger takeaway from that documentary. But, sorry, go ahead again. But we'll get to that. That'll be the last thing, honestly.
The lazy river has like a whirlpool that will suck you down if you go by yourself.
Yes.
You have to go in a group or you'll drown. That will happen.
And just picking fist fights in the middle of that Grand Rapids thing.
Also, the fact that he was like, there was one point where he came like the closest he had to having legal consequence, and he just bought the city ambulances.
Yeah,
like a fuck ton of ambulances, and is like, please stop asking questions. Okay, I guess so.
Or just marshals are expected on the premises and just come for the payments.
Yep.
It's his bank now.
And then on the like the I guess technically lighter side of things, like not the non-death side of things, like the Class Action Park, they have like 4 different professional comedians from the NYC, New Jersey area, who are all like, we were all stoned, we were all fucking each other, and none of us had any training in CPR. We were just stoned 14-year-olds.
We're all drunk 14-year-olds in Jersey.
Yep. God, the 90s was a different time, guys. It really
80s.
was.
80s.
Oh, the 80s? 80s, yeah.
When they're talking about it.
Oh my god. What a time. But what was your big takeaway?
Oh, my big takeaway, I'll talk about it, but Nick, what do you think about all that?
I think that it truly was a dream.
I knew he was
a reality. Man, like the fact that like in the world, in the wave pool, and the fucking wave pool, and like no lifeguard was there.
Yeah,
and people just drowned.
Yep.
You have to clear it out every hour.
Yeah,
to see if there was a body.
Well, how many was it? 2 or 3 people? I think it was 2 or 3 people. That
it was 3 people. I think died in that pool.
Fuck me. And then there was an electrocution death as well. There was
with the canoe, with the kayak.
Jesus fucking Christ! Here's something fucked up, guys, that I have to share with you. I don't think it's in Class Action Park.
Okay,
but because at the end of Class Action Park, they let you know that the place was bought out by a ski resort and turned into like a ski resort for the winter season.
Yes.
I don't know if they went into this in the thing that closed down in the year 2018, 19, something like that.
Okay.
They now have plans to reopen Action Park.
Yeah, I think they touch upon that in the HBO.
Oh, okay.
That there's like plans or some shit.
Perfect timing. Finally,
guys.
Finally, this is what we all just wanted. And like, oh, dude, and it's so we're having fun, right? And then it's like this tragic thing of like, no, the kid careened off and was killed after his head struck rocks that are 20 feet from the property because he got launched off the property, but it was 20 feet off the property.
Yep.
And just dead. They're not responsible. He's dead.
Yep. Yeah.
Also, it was a weird music choice to end on that dude's grave. Of his parents seeing the grave thing. I wonder. The only thing I can see why, right, is maybe it was that kid's favorite song.
I hope that's
when he
the
died.
case.
And I really fucking hope that's because then I went, oh, you guys, that's just tasteless, right? Like,
y'all are sick puppies, y'all.
All right, so here's my takeaway, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a point, I think one of the comedians, she says it too, like, it was the 80s, it was the rite of passage, and if you just didn't do it, you weren't from Jersey, you weren't doing the thing, right? And all I can think about is, I think the 80s has done more damage to, like society, and like the world, and so, okay, here's a hot take.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who loves like 80s action movies too. I love synthwave, which is like this kind of genre. Nostalgia's a disease. It's this fucked up thing where we try to view everything in a positive light, and we don't take away all the lessons that we should have learned, like all the bad shit that was happening. Yeah. And maybe we're using that shit to do better. And there isn't this returning to old. There isn't this returning to the way things were, because we moved on and we did better as a group. And like, maybe because it's so close, right? Nostalgia becomes that thing where it just leads to returning to just these like racist paths, these treating people differently because they're not you. They didn't do what you did or what you think your world was like. There was this video I think Plague of Gripes did and it's a brief throwaway joke where he's like, yes, the 80s or the 90s or whatever, and it was there was the hostage situation, the house market crash, all this. The 80s were fucked, and he moves on instead of going into like, oh yes, I love the 80s. And then they show these movies of like kids, like 80s or 70s kids, like fucking Stand By Me, and all this stuff, and I'm like, was your takeaway from those movies that, oh yeah, to be back there, right? to be in the Goonies, or to go through the thing where you watch your friends fucking die and shit?
All those movies, the kids die, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Even in the uplifting one, fucking in E.T., like that's still traumatizing deeply. Anyway,
the only comedians like thing, I was like, I feel like that's the most fair. It was, and the most like, probably he obviously thought about it. I think it was Chris Gethard.
Yeah, Gerhard. Yeah.
Yeah. Where he's obviously meditated on that shit. And you can tell, because the kind of way there's some like conflict he has with like, no, this is how it happens and this is why, and then like, you go into it, but the whole thing of we should return to that and there's no space for that anymore, I think it's fucking crazy, and the ramblings of some old like fucking 40 and 50-year-olds, dude.
Let me give 3 quick thoughts on what you just said, because I agree. Which is, one is a hot take. The 80s president that just happened to us was. You guys remember the 80s guy who was president? Second of all, I think also like a part of the 1980s was also like, people don't necessarily remember this, but the 1980s was people looking back to the 50s. Like, people were like, we should be doing what we were doing in the 50s. That was working out right. And like, if you actually think about what does that mean, you know. And I think the second thing is like, the final thought is like, I was a kid of the 90s, and I have lots of fond memories of the 90s, defo. But like, if you look back at a movie like Woodstock '99, lots of things in the '90s were super fucked up, and like you can't necessarily, like Gerhardt said, you can't separate them. It's you can't just pretend that, well, I was 7, so I was having a great time, and thus that time was awesome.
That time was great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna put a date. I was 6 when 9/11 happened, and that's like, and yeah, I think overall, there's a lot of problems with my childhood, but I think overall and comparatively from talking, I think it was actually fairly decent.
Mm-hmm.
All things considered, and like, I think it worked. I think it was fine. I'm not gonna go and be like, "Yo, man, the aughts, the fucking the late '90s and the aughts, we fucking awesome, man. We're gonna make Freddy Got Fingered again. We're gonna get fucking Dane Cook's gonna come back with his movies and all. I'm not even saying he's back to me. I'm just saying his movies are trash. And then there's and fucking the war, the police action in places of war instead of saying war, so you can do it forever.
A forever war, if you will.
Yeah. Having friends just ostracized because they had some Middle Eastern heritage
background,
or they sort of looked a little Middle Eastern, even though they weren't.
Oh yeah, yeah. You had a handful of Naphtali dudes I knew, and they were like having a bad time.
Yeah, fuck your nostalgia. I don't need any of that shit, dude. I want keep it going. Let's keep going and rocking and like fucking making things better. I don't need any of that shit to come back.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Fuck you, return to the 80s.
But yeah, dude, I love Class Action Park.
It's great fucking it's an awesome ride.
Unintended.
100%. Go check that shit out. I'm just to those people that were like, we need a return. Fuck you.
Yeah. Fuck that shit.
Fuck you.
Oh man.
Need any of fucking yeah, you know, and every day I stand more and more by the notion that nostalgia is a disease. Don't need that shit. Let's keep making shit better.
Haven't we done enough He-Mans? Have you not had enough of them?
Yeah. Even when Kevin Smith did the new He-Man, they specifically went, we don't want to do the same fucking story. It's got to, we go out and make something new. Otherwise, why? Fucking why? Why make a thing? But yeah. What else, Nick?
I honestly left it there because I want to save the rest of the time. So.
Oh, okay. Ian, you want to pick that up then, or?
Yeah, let me run in here. I just got a handful of things I'll touch on. Mm-hmm. First, I'll make my book recommendation, which is kind of an independent number, but you should be able to find it on Amazon. It's called Christ-like, and I really liked it.
Okay.
It's if anybody has seen Stories, it's kind of set in the early '90s in New York, around the ball scene. If anybody watched the show Pose, it's kind of happening around there, and it's happening around like drag dress up, and then there's also like an element of like just kind of what's going on in NYC in the early '90s. It's a weird time, guys, and I don't know. I also really dug that it was like one of the first books I've read that was about Santeria.
Okay. Yeah, you don't see it, man.
Not a lot of that.
Ball.
I ain't got exactly.
I fucking hate that song. I need to come clean and be like, as someone who lives in SoCal and specifically the area where I'm supposed to love it. It's the same thing with Red Hot Chili Peppers. I feel like there's this thing where I have to be pigeonholed to like it, and I don't.
You can't say bad things about Sublime. We all have to support our boys.
They
Our
have
troops.
good songs, but fuck, man. Like, Santeria starts off with like a B chord and it's awful, and then like you gotta go into
Here's my one compliment for all the Red Hot Chili Peppers fans, which is Flea's been in a lot of stuff I like.
Oh, Flea's they're fantastic musicians. There's no doubt about that.
Not just a musician. He was in Back to the Future 2 and 3.
That's right. That's
Wild
right.
Thornberries.
Right. That's right.
I feel like other
Wild
movies.
Thornberries.
Yep.
He's also a character.
He indeed. Yeah. He's quite a character, I've heard.
Man, there was just a point though when Red Hot Chili Peppers became this like ballad thing.
Oh yeah,
just couldn't fucking Stadium Arcadium, man.
Well, I think when we were going to high school, like Sublime T-shirts were like everywhere.
It's a California thing. Yeah, no,
it's
SoCal thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got my thing off my chest for that song. The practice of Santeria is pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
If you listener were interested in the hit Ryan Murphy TV show that didn't fuck itself, Pose, maybe you'll like this book. It's pretty short and it's written by Emmanuel Xavier, who is a poet. He actually, I don't know that he's written any or any other prose, but he's like one of the most well-known Caribbean poets in the United States. His most famous collection, I believe, is called Mariposas. And yeah, he's very good writer. Worth a look. And then jumping over, I do want to mention I also watched a Netflix documentary.
Okay.
But before I get into that, I do want to ask you guys. So, what y'all think about the Netflix? What's going on?
Oh man, okay. So Netflix kind of sucks. Like, and I mean just as a streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it became this thing where just the quality of the shows kind of went downhill.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The movies did, because they're just pumping them out, and they can't really. And the whole thing of like making 2 seasons then cutting it and not really committing to stuff and telling them, oh, you're gonna, it's gonna be longer, so make the story seem like it's gonna be longer, because you always have to play it out that way.
Yeah.
I was talking about how like Archive 81, when I started watching that, I still haven't finished because I'm kind of just no interest in after a couple episodes. That first episode leaves a bad taste in my mouth towards the end, because it really does feel like, oh, we have to hook you in with something instead of doing the slow burn, right?
Right.
There has to be fucking something to keep you from touching that button. And like, yeah, it's this convenient thing, but the prices are going up. Shit.
And they're adding ads.
Yeah, they're adding ads is the big deal. Which now, we did it. We got back to full circle. I mean, granted, Hulu was doing something like that already. HBO Max does it for their own shows.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning of some stuff, but you can skip it.
Yeah.
But with Netflix doing the ad thing, it's like, no, okay, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is the old days of cable brought back.
Because now you're just buying. Instead of buying like a package, you're just doing it a la carte. But it's ultimately the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a real shame that there's no other way to get a show or to watch it. Real shame. Yeah.
Well, guys, until we figure out some other way.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Oh boy.
What's the answer? Is it spank
I would never be able to say or come up with a solution.
Oh, okay.
I think.
There's no other way.
No. No.
Well,
No.
maybe just take a nap,
No.
sir, and just think about what you could come
Go
up
outside,
with.
touch some grass or something.
You could just not look at the TV.
You could.
I
There's
mean, I
no
guess
way
I
to
could
watch
stop
those
eating.
shows.
No other way.
Wow,
I
but
don't
maybe
know.
that's why I'll keep the subscription.
Mm,
Nah, man, I don't know. It sucks. It's bullshit.
yeah,
Fuck
that's
you,
a bummer.
Netflix. And then them going and destroying the animation studio. Some of the only good shit they were producing
Yeah.
Yeah,
on
but
their
it's
thing in response to the stock dropping from their whole.
Fuck up.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off. You know what you're doing. Don't give me any. Don't piss on me and call it rain.
Did you guys get a chance to watch Kupo? I've yet to get a chance to watch it yet.
No, I haven't yet.
Kipo?
Kupo? Yeah.
Kipo.
It's
Or
like
do you
a.
mean-
It's I
like
think
a-
Nick's right. It's Kipo. Kubo. I think you're thinking of Kubo and you're combining it.
Oh, okay.
Is what I think what's happening.
That's
So you
possible.
mean on Netflix, right? The
Yeah.
the girl with the white
Land
hair.
of the Wondrous Beast, I think.
I want to yeah.
Yeah. That creator had been interviewed. I recently read his interview, and the creator was talking about it, and essentially they were told by Netflix, like, yeah, this is all you're gonna get. So just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But this is all we're not renewing. We're not interested in renewing. Just so do whatever you want. But this is it. Which is, in one way, liberating, I'm sure, but also, if you wanted to tell more of a story, I'm sure a bummer
Yeah.
to hear, like, nah. Yeah. Anyway.
Especially because, like, the way pay is supposed to work for writers, and by the way, like, y'all get unionized because there's a reason Hollywood has a fucking writing union. Is that if the season's renewed and you're brought on, you're supposed to get a raise. That's the only chance you get
That's right.
to get a raise.
right.
Instead of being paid fucking entry for the entire run of the series.
Yeah. And
bullshit.
let me say one other thing about writers for animation,
Yeah,
which
and
is
animators it happens to animators too. Like,
It happens
and
to
everyone
animators.
works on those shows.
I want to say for specifically, I want to shout out the writers for animated series and television and film, and that is y'all, like, the degree to which the studios treat you like an amateur,
Yeah.
just until you, like, the idea that animation is a gateway to quote real art
Yeah.
is fucking insulting.
Yeah.
And pandering, and, like, apparently Philip Lord and his writing partner
Chris Miller.
Chris Miller
Yeah.
were approached after the first Lego movie blew up, and were told by their executives, like, "Hey boys, this is your chance to get into real movies."
Uh-huh.
It's like, nah, we like doing cartoons,
We like doing cartoons, yeah.
and they just could not conceive of that. Like, what do you mean? You can get real people. Like, I could let you meet Angelina Jolie. Don't you want that?
Man, dude, I think about that line of I think I said when the slap happened that I stole from Jason Pargin, aka David Wong. That it's a room full of, like, at some point with that level of fame and that level of money, you're no longer connected to like the rest of society, no matter how hard you try.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a room full of psychopaths giving rewards to psychopaths. Yeah. And man, that just,
he's right.
I see it everywhere. He's so fucking right. Like, it's just so prevalent. Just, you're just not in touch with people. You don't get how humans work. Like,
I legit have so much to say about that. That could be a whole episode we do at some point. Like, the fucking disconnect that. Yeah. And when we're talking about celebrity, we're talking about, like, the people who are at the top and who have been there for, I'd say, more than 3 years.
Yeah.
They're in another dimension.
Yeah.
They're
They don't
straight
live in
up.
the same world. Yeah.
No. Like Michael Jordan still wears acid watch jeans. Gross.
Yeah.
Like it's but like yeah, celebrity not only removes you from the timeline, it just crystallizes you in amber, and you just yeah. It's a trip.
I always think about this thing. Shaquille O'Neal, like, and I know, right? Like, give me a sec. Shaquille O'Neal talked about with his dad when he was first starting on the Lakers, where he won his first championship. I think like the first year he started, or the second year, first or second. And his dad was like, "Oh, let me see the trophy," and then he goes, "Okay, you're not getting this trophy back. Go do it again." And just always making sure, always doing this thing of like taking his trophies so he doesn't, in hopes that he doesn't become full of himself. And on his deathbed, like, he apologized to Shaq about that because he was so conflicted about doing that.
Right.
He didn't want to, but I remember him saying like it did help ground him, like, and to realize like, yeah, it's you do have to keep working on it. It doesn't get, you're not supposed to just coast on that shit if you want to stay intact with everything, in touch with everything.
Yeah.
Because that's where you start losing yourself.
And
then I think about it, like, and I'm like, it sounds so harsh, but also like maybe that's the right thing to do. I don't know. I've never to be a father of someone that like fucking talented and who was like arguably one of the best of his time.
Yes.
And probably actually was. But like,
no.
So I don't know. That's a weird thing that I'm like, yeah, maybe that is tough parenting, but I honestly don't know if that be, because again, when you become famous, you become a psychopath. Like,
so one other thought I have to add to that, and again, this could be a whole other episode, and maybe we should think about that. But like, I won't mention the negative cases because as soon as I say this, you'll all have an answer in your head. But especially children who ascend to celebrity, they have a whole kind of psychopathy that is indescribable, basically. And yet, I something tells me that there may be an element of like American culture specifically, because those Harry Potter kids seem fine. They all seem normal and good and fine.
I think Daniel Radcliffe has talked about that, like about the way they were, like how the set went.
Yeah.
And apparently, it did end up working out for most of them.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know all the Harry Potter kids and what they're up to, but
at least those top 4, they're like,
the important ones.
The important ones.
Those movies,
ones that matter.
Man, I never finished those movies because I told you, like, after I finished reading Harry Potter, I just said, all right, I'm done. And now that I look back, that was probably the best thing I could have ever done. Especially now that I like think about some of the shit that's happened in those books, I'm like, the fuck was I reading, dude? Yeah. Remember when like Harry gets another servant elf?
Yes.
And like one of the last lines in the book is like, I'm waiting for that dude to bring me a fucking sandwich.
Well, you guys, you forgot. He was a mean slave. So he
yeah. But when you become a cop, they just give you one. So like, and people have heard me now, like I'm in this camp of like, man, fuck Harry Potter. Harry Potter is the most overrated shit like ever. That's even when I separate, like, quote unquote, separated from the author, which I can't really, because J.K. Rowling's a fucking monster. And like,
but it's not just that she's a piece of shit. It's like she's insistently
she's so doubling down, like it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's a spiral. She's on this like decade-long spiral. It's
like, I don't know. This is dumb and ridiculous, but like Sean Connery has said at least 5 different things that I think are morally reprehensible, but at least he said them in the 80s and he didn't repeat them ever again, and he died. And now I don't have to.
And he's not even the best Bond. Like Brosnan's the best Bond. Even I'm like, Brosnan's the best one. Like, I like those movies way more. They're goofy. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
like those feel like spy movies, like to me. Like those feel.
I like the fun gadgetry. Like that stuff is
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And also, like,
Anyway.
apparently Pierce Brosnan really understood like the role he was taking on when he did it. Like he made
Oh,
sure
yeah.
to treat everybody like right. Like in fucking, he loved it. He loved it. He loved being Bond. Talking about,
But Brosnan knows that he's doing like a bit. Like
Yes.
he's like, oh, this guy's a dick. Let me see how much of a dick I
see
can
how
be.
we can do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, what was I gonna ask? Oh, were those last movies good? I don't know.
Those last Bond movies?
No, the Harry Potter movies. That's what I was originally gonna ask.
No, Chris needs to know.
Oh God. Okay, so
Because do
I'm
people
gonna be
even
honest.
fucking like them? I never even hear them talk about it anymore. I just, whenever I hear the nostalgia, it's like the first three, right? First three or four.
I will stand. I think that 3 is probably the best of the bunch, and you
I
can
remember
kind
liking 3 the most.
because it's directed by Iñárritu. It's directed by
That's
like
true.
you know, it's yeah. Anyway, it's a
It's
really
like the
good.
first and third one, right? That I think of the most.
First one is good. Third one is really good, and then the rest kind of are serviceable. I mean, they're adaptations. They're whatever. And then fucking and then J.K. Rowling did that shit that apparently modern authors can't stop doing, which is, oh, I'm gonna add some more here.
Yeah.
Like people like. So this is my own personal bugaboo, everybody, about writing. But when you write the book, you need to have the confidence to say, "I'm done now." That's the book.
Oh, dude, I talk about it all the time with people. Like, I think one of the hardest things to learn, and I learned this kind of early on. This is gonna sound like kind of really pretentious here, but I learned it in theater in like high school, and I think it's one of the best lessons I was ever given. Because our theater teacher was huge on improv, and we had to learn that stuff. And one of the best things to learn is get out when it's good. Like, don't even try. If it's a really good thing and you have a slight notion that you can make it better, don't even go for it. Save it for something else. Like, just get out. It was good. Awesome. People are gonna love it. People are gonna think about it. They're gonna love that shit forever. And I've been like taking that with like even my writing, where I go, nope, that's the ending. Fucking done. I don't think I can. Don't want a chance to ruin that shit. Granted, and here's the big caveat here: I am willing to totally ruin that, and I can get why authors are ruin that if I'm also paid millions of dollars to write another fucking book. Like,
yeah,
fuck
definitely.
it.
Definitely. Do you want $5 million per the next 5 sequels? I guess so. I guess I could.
Like, oh man. Luckily, but since I'm not in that position, get out. I mean, this shit's good.
All right, I'm gonna breeze through the next few things, guys.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. That was a good conversation. Let's end there.
It's good. It's good. Fuck it.
It's good. Goodbye. We should have stopped a long time ago. Goodbye.
Hang on. You know what? So I do say that, but also I love when I love dragging out shit too. I think there's a fun in it, but I only do that with friends.
Yes.
Or just how fucking awkward
how long
and silent we make this stupid thing.
Oh, fuck.
But when it's for an audience or where it's for other people, get out when it's good, man.
Oh yeah, leave them like, I mean, it's the cliche, but a very telling one. Leave them wanting more. Yeah, that's why they say it. Shit. So, briefly, I'll mention Netflix has a new documentary it's a true crime documentary that I enjoyed. And it's about Jimmy Savile. Does that name ring a bell for anybody?
No.
On this? No? So, the short version is Jimmy Savile was a children's entertainer from, like, the 70s, basically, through the mid-90s. He had a really popular show where kids from about the age of 6 to the age of about 15 would write in and would ask Jim to like basically use his show to do something fun and whimsical. Like, Jim, I wish I could fly for a day. And then they would bring like a cherry picker to the school and harness a child and let them zip zap all around their school. And it was very fun, and children really liked it. And this guy became so beloved that he was like in with the royal family. He got knighted. He got this. He got that.
Yeah.
And it turns out he was a real creep, just a real piece of shit, a real fucking ghoul.
Fine.
And then I don't know. The documentary essentially kind of goes into a really interesting kind of exploration on how people found out, how he got kind of whistleblown, but also to like, I think what stood out to me, because like, I don't know, in the States we know many examples of celebrities who abuse their celebrity against their fans. But this guy was on like a fucking different gear of monster, because for one thing, he was in with like both the royal family and like actual government officials who were all like, "Oh, what?"
It's a good sign.
It's a good sign. That's normal.
It's a good sign.
And so Jimmy Savile from 1985 to 1993 was an administrator of mental health for different parts of England, where he didn't have any qualifications. It was just like, oh,
yeah,
you were on TV and we all like you.
Oh.
And he would essentially like throw ragers for the staff of psychiatric hospitals.
Hell yeah.
So that he could then do
the most
whatever
stable
he
of the
wanted.
bunch.
Yeah. Like, and nobody, what's fucking bananas though is like nobody like for a second was like, that's kind of weird that you're buying booze for all these doctors and nurses. They work hard. They want to have a good time. I'm gonna be back here. Everybody stay here. I'm gonna be back here. Yeah. But I think it's worth talking about just because like his whole situation maps really well onto a lot of things that we've seen here. So if you're someone who's interested in confronting that kind of like systemic issue in society, that's an interesting documentary to watch.
Yeah.
Interesting. I might check it out.
So, but the other thing I was going to mention is actually a YouTuber that I've recently found that I really like. I really want to promote to you guys. His name is Minuteman, and he's an archaeologist. And he does great. Okay, so here's a slight confession of shame. I did try TikTok. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm thinking about starting it just for the sake of the Kickstarter and trying, because that's where the kids are.
You know what's fucking crazy is it took TikTok like less than an hour to figure out. Okay, so you want nudity and ghosts? We got you. We're just gonna throw that at you.
That's right.
It's like the way I don't know how the algorithm works. Like you don't put it in it; it just like.
Well, it needs to know what videos you're watching first, otherwise it's gonna throw shit at you.
That's what it is. But
I want to see butts and ghost butts. That's what I want to see. Dan
Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd. Yeah, I was watching. I was listening to a Castle Super East podcast, and one of the hosts, Wooly, was like, my introduction to TikTok was a girl doing an impression of someone with Tourette's.
Jesus Christ.
And I was like, is it all like this? Is it all
is all of TikTok's people mocking?
Yeah.
Mocking.
And he goes on, I have this weird thing. I like this thing of just watching machines build stuff. Like it's satisfying to him, just the precision and like kind of just like
Sure.
you know how you watch How It's that old show How It's Made. They would
I
show the
loved
machines
How
doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that like he just wanted that, like,
Right.
bro. And then it's like, and then you pull up a video. I can't go to YouTube because I pull up a video on YouTube, and then some robot voice that's like an AI was like, "What's in the news today?" And then it reads the thing and goes on these like right wing rants and like these alt right conspiracies.
Dude,
And now I'm
it
going
is-
on to TikTok, and the first thing that shows up is a girl doing an impression of a kid with Tourette's.
So this is okay. While we're talking about TikTok, I will confirm and corroborate, like, well, because like I'm interested in conspiracy anthropologically. Like, I think it's interesting when people believe banana shit,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I'd love to hear the banana shit.
Same
you
here. I
believe.
think me and you have that same thing, right?
But unfortunately, TikTok has a hard time distinguishing between.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So sometimes
People have a hard time distinguishing.
Yeah. And so I was like, I gotta I actually had to try and reset my like whatever you call it, like my preferences, because at some point I was starting to get fucking conspiracies about, I don't know, like some fucking dangerous, like what will we do when the whites are finally dwindled? Oh no, I don't want this. This isn't what I was looking for. I don't. No.
And it's it's the girl doing the Tourette's impression.
I've seen this video 7 times. Oh no, I think you think I like this.
The algorithm says you swiped on it several times.
Algorithm says that it held your attention for at least
like
5.6 seconds. Fuck. Yeah.
Notice you stared at the URL for horseporn.com for like 20 seconds. And
here's
try
a
to
salt lick, you sick fuck. We'll give you what you want, you fucking degenerate. But I'll be fucked.
I want fair pay for writers, you creep.
No, you don't understand. I wanted videos of great grandmas, not great grandmas.
You want great grandmas.
No.
Here's a copy of my sexy aunt.
This serves an animated bug.
So you went on TikTok.
I've been on TikTok.
You on TikTok?
And I find this guy who's called Minuteman.
Yeah.
And he's an anthropologist and an archaeologist. And his whole deal is essentially he debunks or like critically analyzes conspiracy theories that are ubiquitous on TikTok. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting because I'm technically learning something about like Bronze Age history or like geologic history or things like that. So his last video that he just put out on YouTube, it's like a 25 minute video about Seahenge in the north of England. And he actually like goes into what do we know about the pre-Christian pagan societies that practiced these beliefs? What do we know about why they built where they built? What do we know about the geography of that time when the oceans had receded quite a bit at that point? And, so I think it's really interesting. And then if you're interested in kind of understanding banana shit that people believe, he also has like videos about there are no such things as cyclopses. Here's 7 examples of people who claim they prove cyclopses exist and what this is actually.
Yeah. It was an elephant skull, right?
Yeah.
And that's a giant hole.
It's a big hole.
Yeah. Let's ignore the eye sockets on the side. It's
no, don't worry about it. No.
It's mostly elephant bones, I think. A lot of them are. Yeah.
I remember watching stuff on that and like Nat Geo and Discovery back when they did stuff, and then like
before it was all mermaids and Nazis.
It was all mermaids, Nazis, and some dude trying to hockey shit. So,
This is Jimbo, and I got a real playing card signed by Mickey Mantle.
Here's a
Yeah.
shoe I found in my grandpa's basement. I think it belonged to Lincoln. I just want to.
I'm gonna start the bidding at $12 billion.
It's like, sir, did you just give us your leftover lunch from yesterday? No, it's a shoe from Lincoln. I believe
Sir,
it's.
you're only wearing one shoe now. It's been hard.
Yeah, my name's Lincoln. I feel like.
What a treat. But yeah,
I was
guys,
bitten by a nine-tailed fox, and I put on a Garfield mask.
and Jesus
While I teach her how to read. No.
you won't want to wear a pen and you'll cry. Anyway. Yeah, I think it's a great series. It's definitely worth your time. And hey, if you like it, go out and subscribe to that dude. He's making some great educational content. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, I think in terms of tips, I do prefer those. Like they're actually like debunking and explaining like how things actually work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's actually more interesting than the crazy conspiracy stuff most of the time.
I agree, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's way more like I did not know this, and this sounds fucking rad, and I wish someone would rebuild it at Seahenge, the video he did last. It's like planks of wood set up on the beach so that they kind of catch the water. But he says that originally at the center of Seahenge, they would have dug out a whole elm tree and buried it upside down so the roots were like 7 feet, 9 feet in the air at the center of this huge circle. And I was like, that looks metal as hell. I wish I could have seen that.
That's so much work.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But yeah, guys, that was my month.
Oh, okay, sick. Yeah, I don't got much because it's just been the Kickstarter and work. Elden Ring is still streaming. I haven't beaten it. The game is long. It's really, oh my god, that game might be like one of my favorite games of all time. I'm not sure yet, because all I can think about right now that I'm streaming it is, man, I can't wait to beat it on stream so I can start another file and go through it all again. What else? I'm reading a book. I haven't finished it yet. I know, hooray for me! And that'll be the end of that. I'm reading Carrier Wave by Robert Brockway.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool. It's really I won't say much. It's about a sound.
Oh, okay.
Kind of drives you crazy.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think I'm over halfway through. It's it's a big ass, it's a thick ass book. Like, it's a tome, but it reads pretty quickly and pretty succinctly.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a bunch of short stories of as this event kind of unfolds, which is my jam as someone who fell in love with the original World War Z. So love that shit. Love it so much. The Kickstarter is going, by the way. Go support that. It's Underling Uprising. It's down below. I want to hit 10 grand by the end of the week. Didn't think that'd be possible, but look at us now. It's wild.
Damn close.
Seriously, like, thanks to everyone. Anyone doesn't know, if you're into music, we have like McCready and Groovy Kaiju are gonna collaborate with us if we fund it, and I had to keep those a secret for a while, even though I'm a big fan of both those artists, of all those artists actually, because McCready's like 3 guys, I think. But yeah, other than that,
that's all the music.
Oh, what's that?
That's all the people doing music.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and Amit's 9, which is our own Nick here, says he'll make a track or 2.
Nice.
Yeah.
That guy.
Thank you.
I'm excited.
You're welcome. Let me just finish rolling up that red carpet for you. And, Fuck yeah, I don't even think, because I think we talked about the shows I watched, because I watched them with Nick. Yeah, man. Yeah, not again. Real
We
fucking
can do
Honestly,
busy.
spoiler if you want. You want to jump
Yeah.
into?
I just kind of want to jump into spoilers because honestly, I kind of watch those movies so I'd have something to talk about.
okay.
All right.
Wow.
So from here on out, it's gonna be spoilers for the Batman, and then everything, everywhere, all at once. I say let's start the Batman first. I don't think I have much to say about
I
it.
don't have as much to say, so I agree.
Yeah. So I want to kind of actually just want to get out of the way.
Okay.
Which may be a spoiler for what I think of both movies, but yeah, I think all at once is better than
Yeah, not even close, guys.
not even close. So let's do the Batman first.
Okay.
And let me put that down. But yeah, the rest of the podcast is going to be spoilers for those two movies. There we go. All right. So Spoilercast will start in 3, 2, 1. It's like a solid 7 or 8.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
The Batman.
That's
Yeah,
good.
if I had to give an arbitrary number.
Yeah, I'd agree with an 8. I think it's perfectly serviceable. I think it's got
better. It's way better than I thought it was going to be. It's a good movie.
it's okay. This is a non-controversial place
Yeah.
to start. It's definitely better than the last two people
Oh, it
who
sure is.
were Batman.
It sure is. It really is. I do have some issues with it.
Mhm.
So one, I think this is like a moodier, kind of darker tone Batman to take at once. Take in a good way to do it.
Mhm.
Having said that, it kind of becomes like. So there's either two ways to watch this, and one was like it's either so dark that it's not fun,
Mhm.
and you're kind of just like, well, it makes like the Heath Ledger one seem like fucking Batman 66 comparatively. But or you saw it the way I saw some stuff happen where I go, that's so weird that they're doing it at this moment that I think it's funny, and they don't seem like.
Go on. Like
so,
what?
I'm trying to think in. Okay, so here's one. Paul Dano's Riddler is talking to him via chat in the movie. I think when that guy's head's gonna explode.
Yeah.
And it's a stream, and there's like emojis going off as he's explaining, and I think that shit's hilarious. And maybe it's because in my head that kind of stuff is not something to take seriously. It's the Twitch thing.
Yes.
And I think it looks really fucking funny. But maybe I'm also lost on that, where it becomes kind of like it is a dystopian thing, but I still find the humor in it. But maybe if like you're young, that seems really real. Like, and that's
if
all
you're
you know.
young, that's probably how you would interact with actual like political extremism.
Yeah.
Is on a
Exactly.
that's true. I mean,
But see, you say that, but also here's why I think it was on purpose, because you get to see a smaller site with the actual dudes who are like activists. And that looks scary to me, because that looks like the actual shit I've seen on reports for dudes who do that stuff, who are conspiracy like terrorist groups.
Right.
Where it's homebrewed, it's the smallest amount of like UI you would need to communicate. That seemed a lot more real, and that's why I think that punch was a little bit more. But yeah, so let me go into the actors type deal. I think everyone's like great. My only thing with Robert Pattinson is I believe him as Batman. I don't believe him as Bruce Wayne.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
As Batman, I see it like when he was doing the things. I saw the moodiness, kind of like the actual emotions that were going through. Granted, I'm never too much on the like the Batman I kind of like was never too brooding, the brooding. There's the brooding, but I mean like they're not emotional.
Okay.
It's kind of like this cold, calculated detective thing, and like granted, the first part of that story is like a noir film, which is kind of why I dig it like a lot. And I saw that bit, and Bruce Wayne is definitely like the facade. and it's
Yes.
kind of just this all thing. And somewhere in between is like what Alfred sees, the actual broken person that is trying to be cold and calculated, right?
Yes.
This kind of suppression of emotions. That's always been kind of like my Batman, and that most of that is because of like animated series, Justice League,
Mhm.
a lot of the cartoons. So when it's like an emotional, like he seems, and I know he's not as young as I think he is, but he
Yeah.
seems so fucking young and like emotional. Like he looks like in his early 20s.
Yeah, he looks like he's 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, so in my head, it's like the only way I can kind of excuse that is he's very early on the Batman thing.
This is
And
his second year, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, that makes a lot more sense to me, right? He's not
Right.
battle hardened.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So that now I believe that a little bit more, right? Like, especially like Catwoman is definitely brand new to that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just happen to all be very good. Like what they do. Although there's moments where fucking Batman eats it.
Yeah.
And I think that shit's great where he's hobbling. And like, because he's so banged up, I thought I was like, that's great. That's fucking awesome. I want more of that. Especially if he's new, like, just like, oh fuck, I took that too fast, or
Yeah.
all that. Paul Dano, I actually really liked as a Riddler. I thought I wouldn't like that Riddler.
Mhm.
And I know it's supposed to be more reflective of like today's kind of like homegrown terrorist threat.
Yeah.
Which I kind of dig. I kind of dig doing that. I wish his riddles were a little worse.
Oh, okay.
I like Goofy Riddler. Well, let me ask you, what kind of Riddler do you guys like?
I mean, I liked Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Interesting.
I liked seeing him
That's a
be
take.
like a wild, fucking deranged person.
That's a take. Okay.
Was fun, but I kind of like him as essentially like the Zodiac killer.
Okay.
Like that's also a fucking fun take.
One. Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know how I feel about like the Arkham Asylum game takes. You know, where he's like, oh, it's a riddle, but you'll never get the answer because it's so fucked up. And like, like, ooh, like the 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the afternoon, 3 legs at night, and it's no, I beat up a baby, and now the baby has no arms, and then you staple the thing, and like that kind of Riddler is kind of boring to me.
Well,
because then it's like, what are we doing here then?
Because that's not a riddle. That's
and I know that's supposed to be the whole point. It's not a riddle, right? Like, but no, fuck off. Like that's there's no fun. Like, no, man, and like. So I like Paul Dano. I like that he looked like just a dude, like some guy,
like an accountant that had a real. Well, I mean, he is an accountant that had a really bad time, essentially, in the movie.
Yeah, and it's great, and he looks great. I think his acting was top notch. Colin Farrell as the Penguin, I thought was like actually kind of blew me away at how good that was. I think he might have been the best performance in the movie.
Oh, I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah. Wasn't expecting the guy who played James Baldwin in The French Dispatch as Gordon Ramsay. I guess they just didn't or Gordon Ramsay.
Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner
fucking dweeb.
Gordon Ramsay.
You call this a fucking crime?
A fucking crime.
Anyway.
Another scene I found was weird and funny was when they're trying to do a fake argument in the cell.
So Batman can run away. Right.
Yeah. And they just kind of hop into it almost as if they rehearsed it. And I'm like, maybe that's bad, but like I think it's funny. I thought it was like it was one of those things of, did I fucking write this because it's so fucking weird and zany?
I think that scene also is another example of Batman being clumsy at this stage in his career. Like he's Well, I don't know. Nick, what did you think of the Batman?
Yeah,
in
we haven't
the
heard your takes on it yet.
Oh, I thought it was pretty interesting how for like like Chris said, they're definitely going for the younger and experienced Batman
Mhm.
rather than like Dark Knight and the other ones where he is like well seasoned and
Mhm.
more established. Yeah, no, I like the suit. I think the suit was
Oh yeah.
what they intended to be.
Yeah.
I think physically he's more practical than the ones before.
Mhm.
He's kind of lanky, isn't he? He's like
Yeah.
not a big bulky dude. He's like
I think fighter type would be like
Yeah.
more accurate. Like definitely more slimmed down,
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
more precise, which I liked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the fight scene, and that helped with the fight scene too.
yeah.
Like the
Mhm.
fight scenes you see, then they were actually pretty cool to watch.
Like I felt like the fighting in the movie all felt grounded even when you got weirder and weirder scenarios. It
Yeah.
always felt like okay, there's heft, there's weight, there's stakes to what's
Mhm.
going on.
Yeah. And actually, it felt like it was inspired by the Arkham Asylum games. Like that's how they were taking it,
Yeah,
where
I
it's
could see that.
takedowns based and like precision, right?
Mhm.
And he does get hit. He takes hits during them, and like
Yeah.
that's fun to watch. Just not this machine that's unstoppable. You know, he will win, but it's at least fun to see him take a few hits.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about like kind of the overall plot. First of all, this movie's way too fucking long.
It feels like a miniseries.
It really does.
I think they could have released this as 3 hour long
Yeah.
episodes, and it maybe would have felt a little more paced better.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, because at some points I'm like, wait, the movie's still fucking going. Like, you're not. I kind of kudos for not saying this. This is where the sequel will take place. Like,
no.
but there was one point where I paused to use the bathroom, and I was like, okay, I just gotta use the bathroom. Let's see where it's at. We're only halfway through the fucking movie. What more? We can find out who the Riddler is.
Also, guys, this movie is cram packed with fucking like. It's not just Catwoman, Batman, Riddler,
Yeah.
Penguin. There's also spoilers. The Joker makes an appearance.
Yeah. Which I don't know how I feel about that Joker, but we'll see.
Falcone has a whole plot line.
Yeah,
like
so that's the
Falcone
plot line I think could be taken out.
Yeah.
And that sucks because that is the Jesus playing a Falcone. And he's playing him great.
Yeah, he's doing great.
But it's like, I don't think we need that plot, dude. Like, he's a great actor. And it's not even that the line's like, the story's bad. It just seems like the least, like, we could have worked around that.
It's the big, I mean, his plot line not only resolves Selena Kyle's plot line, but it also, I guess if you want to look at it this way, is the undermining of Batman, the idea of like, oh, my parents fucked up real bad.
Yeah.
And they were not, like, Thomas and Martha Wayne were not maybe clean people. Yeah. Like, maybe rich people do fucked up stuff sometimes.
You know that joke I always say where I just say the sins of the father whenever someone does bad? And it's like, oh, but it was me. And like,
yeah.
Like they beat me to the punch because that's like written on a fucking wall.
Sins of the father is literally written on a wall.
It's a clue, right? Like,
yeah.
It's a quote unquote clue because even I'm like that. Come on, and let.
What could it be?
So that was okay. That kind of leads into one thing I kind of dug about the movie, but again, because it is a big Hollywood movie, no one's gonna have the like cojones to like actually tackle this subject in a meaningful way, which is that it is just corruption when you have that much power.
Well, and the movie also touches on the idea that criminals don't go into crime because it's fucking fun. They go into crime because their life sucks. Like, Selena Kyle was essentially sexually abused and orphaned in her childhood. So, like, and she asks Batman, like, so what do you think I was gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
everything about my life.
Oh, I know,
blows.
dude. When she has him like to a fucking like she sees right through him. Like she has him in that argument, right? Where he's like,
Yeah.
you should have known the consequences. And it's like, fuck off, Batman. It's what a goddamn child says.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, because that's where it comes off as, oh yeah, you did. Yeah, where she goes like, you did grow up rich, in the sense that like, yo, man, you don't know. You don't know what it is to actually be in this world.
Now, here's a weird comparison I want to make, and
Yeah.
because this is the idea that the movie has that I really want to talk about is, so let's compare it for a minute to the Joker, the Riddler and his associates, his online creeps.
Yeah.
Compared to the Flag Smashers from our favorite Marvel series, Captain Soldier, Winter Falcon.
Captain Soldier, Winter Falcon, yeah.
Captain
Falcon, Winter Falcon.
Captain Winter Falcon. But like ostensibly, both of these are kind of wrestling with the idea that there is systemic inequality in the world, and honestly, a lot of these people are coming from a very understandable place of fucking frustration and anger at the idea that essentially rich people get to fuck up and walk away, and the rest of us fuck up and lose
everything,
our homes, everything. Yeah.
Anything we care about. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that seems to be a theme that at least we're starting to see movies get comfortable with broaching. But here's my take: is at the end of the movie, like Batman's big come to Jesus moment.
Is
his
they couldn't avoid it, dude. It's that new DC, right? Like, fuck. In the 11th hour, he almost made it through.
His whole thing is ostensibly that Batman, up to this point, only punishes people who do bad things.
Yeah.
He does not help people who are the victim of circumstances. And then Batman is like, oh, I gotta help all these people. And then he like goes down and he helps the mayor and all the people escape from the flooding building. And that's like his growth. But the thing he should have fucking thought about was that the terrorists say the same things that he says, and he does.
100%.
And the Joker also points out, like, oh, you're not mad about it. You're, like, super stoked, Batman. You love that he's doing this.
Loves that. He loves it. He loves it. Yeah. And that's like... So, I will say, I think the Batman handles it better than Captain Falcon, Captain Winter Soldier. And, in the sense that the show falls into the thing of, oh man, they're super right up until like the last episode where they shoot a baby. And then they shoot a baby. And then you can't... and then it's like, well, now they have to go. There's no... Yeah, what? You're going to argue for them? No, they have to go. They shot a baby. And like... even though they're like fucking super right up until that point.
Yeah, they're still super right.
And then the Batman handles it a little bit better because it is up until that last thing. But again, it's like, okay, you know what I'm thinking about? I'm going to bring this back to Harry Potter. There's a famous I think like I think it was 4chan or something. It was a post about J.K. Rowling's interpretation of Harry Potter and how it's kind of the symptom of centrists and or like liberals, current liberals. I mean, as in the people actually in power, not what you or I might think of as liberalism.
Mainstream Democrats, liberal,
where all the fixes are small and will not change the status quo.
Yes,
because they cannot imagine that. They cannot imagine not being comfortable where they are, because they are comfortable. They have this weird thing of wanting to do the right thing, the quote-unquote right thing, but to actually take change and to become uncomfortable and ruin a status quo so that others can finally like stop fucking losing everything they love or losing things. and losing what they love and living in poverty and living in sickness.
Yeah.
They can't think beyond that because that means I'm not going to be comfortable. That means the status quo has to change, even though I actually like where I'm at.
Yeah.
And that's inconceivable. So that's where kind of I think happens with the Batman is I don't know if the status quo is going to change because it's all, they do flood the city, which is kind of wild. And and we'll see. And there is hints of that with the new mayor. But at the same time, it's like Batman is still helping out the bankers, is still helping out like that. And it honestly, it's going to come down to the next movie. And what were the lessons learned?
Well, and see, the ultimate lesson should be we shouldn't have a Batman. A Batman's a fucking dumb idea. Like
it should just be a guy. It should just be people helping out.
Exactly. Well, because also Catwoman says in the movie, like, oh, Thomas and Martha Wayne both had charities that you shut down so that you could do Batman more.
So you get, which is wild. Which is fucking wild.
Maybe you should do something about all that.
So it's kind of why I appreciate the shot at the end where he looks super fucked up because he's obviously been helping people for a long time. And it kind of gives me hope that they'll maybe fix that. But at the same time, man, this is a big Hollywood movie. Who knows what they're gonna fucking allow, right?
Well,
what's gonna pass?
But that's the whole thing. Is like the end of wherever this is going. If they do one more, if they do two more, the ultimate point should be Bruce Wayne should learn the lesson he is ultimately supposed to learn is being Batman doesn't help people. You should just try and change.
Yeah.
Like, you should understand. I mean, to your point you made about, like, mainstream, leftists, like Democrats and things like that. Like, you need to understand you are a part of a system that fucks up other people. Yeah. Even if you yourself did not pay a hitman to murder someone, like, you're still a part of reaping the benefits of that. You're still fucking rich. Like, and Selena Kyle's still an orphan who's living a fucking tough life because of the choices your family made. Like,
100%.
Yeah.
See, I don't know how I feel about that Joker, by the way.
How do you feel about that Joker?
I don't know. To be fair, I only saw the small scene. I haven't seen the quote-unquote deleted scene, which gives me more time to experience the Joker. Because, whatever's in the movie is in the movie. I'm going to base it off that.
I think that what they have potentially set up, and here's my idea of a really good thing that they'll never do. So here's my great pitch for a movie that won't happen.
Yeah.
Is the sequel is a prequel where you see the Batman fight Joker, and it's year one.
Yeah.
And the end of that is Batman realizing, oh, I've mutilated a human being's face so badly.
Yeah.
Fighting crime. This is kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Maybe I should pull back. And then you realize that year two is him, quote unquote, pulling back. And then movie 3 is him realizing, oh, being Batman's dumb. I should stop being Batman. I should open a housing project or something. That's probably more helpful.
And I just want to. I also want to say, for people who have listened to this podcast, I am a huge Batman fan. I grew up loving Batman comics. So even I'm no, but at the same time, Batman's a Band-Aid. It's not a cure for actual problems going on there, right?
Really weird is they've kind of been circling this idea since Nolan Batman.
But they never have the cojones to say that.
Well, because then you don't get more Batman.
Because then you don't get more Batman. No, the money, Chris. Money is what
they don't. If Bruce Wayne heals his psyche, I don't get to see a mentally unwell man punch strangers.
It's like that. You remember those comic covers where Superman, where the whole Justice League is holding protest signs with during marches for like, I think it was either, I don't think it was Black Lives Matters. I think it was like a pride parade or something.
okay.
I think that's what it was.
Mhm.
And then you're just looking at the cover and go, all of you fucking assholes can fix this problem right now.
Aquaman, fucking no more water until gay people could get married. No.
It's like if I think this has happened. It's like if fucking president is marching with you and you're like, and he's like, yeah, I hope we can enact some changes or something.
You know, Chris, let me suggest an even more ridiculous situation.
Yeah.
It's like theoretically, of course, a sitting president tweeted, "Someone needs to do something about this," and then you have to tweet back at them, "You're the goddamn president.
It's your fucking job. Go do it."
Oh, that's that whole Bill Burr skit of the Bring Back Our Girls.
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
on the billboard, and it's like, well, why are you telling me? Just look down your dinner table. You see that guy right there? Get him to call in some Navy SEALs and then call it a day. Don't tell me on the highway that I need to bring back those girls.
It's so fucking wild. And and I know, and this is for all my like friends who are listening, like, Chris, why aren't you touching upon the thing of like, well, they do that on purpose to make the people feel like it's their responsibility and take responsibility for this. I know. My thing is, fuck them. They should be doing the thing.
Same.
I'm not falling for that shit.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh gosh, I wish someone could do something about the minimum wage.
Oh boy, what out of my hands?
What are we gonna do, guys?
You guys want to make some signs?
all these economists can't figure it out.
Yeah, we don't know.
Oh, someone has to.
We really thought the trickle down thing was gonna work. We really. Oh my god, man. Anyway, that was the Batman. Again, better than I thought. It's probably the second best, like, of the new. I'm gonna call it, ever since Zack Snyder started the DC movies, the new DC movies. Although definitely we're in a new era. First one, of course, being Suicide Squad by James Gunn. I still think is the best one.
Oh, that's where we really got into kind of a new writing style.
Yeah, and you know what? It was goofy, and it was had great action, and it still had shit to say, and it said it well, in like the small amounts. Yeah. Again, the Batman does have some stuff, but it feels like it's not meditating on it too much. Yeah, like it keeps touching upon the subject, but it doesn't get too far.
It doesn't have a point that it wants to stand on.
Yeah. Because it would be a lot. It would be. It's hard. It really. Again, I still think it's a good movie, but there are problems with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nick, any final thoughts on the Batman before we move on?
I mean, I don't know where they can go from here.
Yeah, the Joker's going to be whatever, but yeah.
Oh, I was hoping they'd do the things from, like, not Year One, the Court of Owls.
Yeah, maybe. It's been long enough, right, that's in the lexicon for people.
Yeah.
And they've definitely set up that there's, like, corruption abounding.
Yeah, you can have a secret society.
Yeah, though, I mean, Court of Owls kind of falls into xenomorphs for me, where the more I see them, the less, like, I like them.
Yeah. I totally understand, dude.
For the first 2 times the Court of Owls show up, it's legit terrifying.
Yeah.
And part of
and
a
then
they
cool stop doing stuff.
And then it's like, yeah, they're there. That? Anyway, back to Superman.
Because you realize, these comics gotta be serialized, and if we want to keep those that group of people, we can only have them do so much.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I totally understand that. You want here? Okay, you know, I want left field. I got a left field one.
Mm-hmm.
Left field. Next Batman movie. Gotham still flooded, right? And nature's starting to take back because there's no city. And guess who shows up. Swamp Thing.
Ooh.
Because we find out the Joker stole his girlfriend in that one Batman comic that Alan Moore did. And we get and half of the movie is a conversation between Batman and Swamp Thing, like in the comic. After everyone tries everything. The last half of the movie is a conversation.
Now that's a bold position. I'm ready. I'm ready.
That's very
I'm ready.
bold. Yeah. It'll never be done.
Never be done. Let's see. Let's
see. Prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong.
Just do it.
But for real, if no one's read that Alan Moore comic where Swamp Thing meets Batman, it's one of the best Batman comics, straight up. Like, you know, it like for me, it's one of the best ones. But yeah, all right. So finally, should we talk about Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Please, yes.
Okay, let me put the spoilers. And I got a segue for this. Everywhere. Oh, it's a long title. Give me some. Once. There we go. Yeah, let me take a swig, and I got one. So Batman's fight, the Batman's fight scenes were cool. Mm-hmm. You know who had much better fight scenes? Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Might be the best I've seen in a long time.
It's some of the best fight scenes I've seen in a long fucking time.
It might be ever.
Now, I'm gonna say this up top, and I want to just see how you guys feel. I think this might be one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Okay, so here's what I said to Nick out of the theater, and I made sure it was like one of the first things. I haven't felt this way about watching a movie in a theater since I watched Mad Max Fury Road or Into Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Where it's a ride I enjoyed the entire time. I want to see it again, and I came out and I went, that was a fucking movie. It had everything. You know when people say a movie has everything? No, this movie has everything.
It really does.
It has romance. It has action. And that action is fucking amazing. It has heart. It has a message. And it has comedy abound.
Horror. Yeah.
Comedy, horror. And it's, oh my God, it's all there. Yeah. It's all there. It's a hilarious movie wrapped in this like action-packed fucking... It's nuts. It's kind of insane how well they keep everything together, too, which is another thing I'll talk about later for the plot. But it all works. And it all works super well. And you're watching this and you're going, how is this not falling apart at certain points? It's one of the loosest, yet it's a movie that feels so loose that it must be the tightest movie ever written. Yeah. Like type deal. Because it feels like it could just fly apart.
At any moment.
Yeah.
At any moment.
Oh my God. Dude. No, this movie... Okay, so we'll talk about the action scenes because that's where we started real quick. So I know people from the Raid Redemption worked on this. Nice. That was the only thing I heard about the movie going in. And it fucking showed. Because they're using... People are taking big fucking spills and bumps.
Mm-hmm.
They're using crazy weapons. It's obviously inspired by, like, not just kung fu movies, but I would argue, well, actually, it takes from a bunch of them. Like, there's definitely the Jackie Chan kind of loose using whatever you got in your vicinity while also maintaining humor. Yeah. It's got some of the Bruce Lee, like, one-man takedown. Yeah. It's got Wang Chung shows up, so there's a little bit of Ip Man where it's a more coordinated precision fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's fucking wrestling. And they play it up, and it's some of the best shots in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Here, if I had to give one of those clever like letterbox reviews that's funny and like will get people to watch it. in a one line, I would be like, I saw Jamie Lee Curtis do a full 180 drop kick off the ground.
Can we talk about Jamie Lee fucking Curtis? And she like
Incredible.
shows up. She shows the fuck up.
Yeah.
So like just I never thought I would see her in anything like this. She's yeah.
I knew her as like the person from Halloween growing up, and then the rest would be all serious movies.
Freaky Friday.
Friday. Yeah. So I knew her for like I started off knowing her like for really goofy stuff.
Yeah.
And as like a scream queen, but like, and then it would become like serious stuff as she got older.
Yeah.
And then I would find out she's like a huge fucking nerd and likes fighting games and does all this stuff with her daughter. I believe it's her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's in this movie, and oh my god, dude, the range! You realize, oh, that's why Jamie Lee Curtis is an amazing actor.
Yeah,
the range you need for this movie is wild.
Like, this is maybe slightly touching on another affect of the movie, but I really want to mention because it's related to Jamie and her range, which is in this movie. They keep presenting you with just dumb ideas that they take very seriously. And then by the end of the movie, you're not really thinking about how ridiculous the thing is. You're just kind of thinking, okay, this is just another affect. So in which I'm thinking, like, you have scenes wherein Jamie Lee Curtis is both fighting physically, fighting verbally, and then reconciling with our lead actress, the mother, and hot dog fingers. And
oh, dude, hot dog fingers are so fucking good.
And then
Nick was like rolling out of his seat laughing watching the gorillas like and they're in like cheap ass gorilla suits.
Yeah, very obviously people in gorilla suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing the whole fucking Space Odyssey monolith, but now they're beating up the inferior human hands.
Yeah,
superior sausage fingers.
Yep.
Okay, look, if you have a movie that has that, and on top of that, it all somehow connects in a way, like that's an achievement of itself.
I agree.
Yeah.
For even out of context, it makes none and the most sense.
Yeah.
I mean, Rakakuni is... I don't want to spoil it for people. Let's just say Rakakuni.
Oh, no, it's a spoiler cast. We can talk about whatever. Yeah.
We talk about whatever, yeah.
Fuck, dude. That is maybe the funniest setup to payoff I've seen in a movie in so long.
He's singing like a Disney song from like Song of the South.
Yep.
Dude, like the movie Disney doesn't want you to know, what's it called? The water ride is based off of.
Yeah, Splash Mountain is
based off.
But when she starts talking about, like, she's trying to explain what verse jumping is to her family.
Yeah.
And you think, like, okay, is she going to talk about The Matrix? Is she going to talk about fucking Requiem for a Dream? No, she's going to be like, do you know where the raccoon teaches the boy to cook?
Yeah.
And he pulls his hair under the hat. No, it was a raccoon. Rakakuni. It's...
Because that's what she knows.
That's the only movie she's seen.
And shout outs to the husband going, oh yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Dude, it was those conversations are some of the realest I've ever seen from like having grown up with a lot of friends who were Korean.
Mm-hmm.
Like specifically Korean, but also had like Chinese and Japanese, just Asian American families.
Yeah.
And seeing how that was like some of the realest things I've seen with them.
Yeah.
And stories I've ever heard is just that one thing of describing a movie. That felt like someone I knew.
Yeah. But yeah, guys.
Rakakuni, it's oh my god, dude, that fucking puppet is like hilarious.
It's so
trying
good.
To kill. It's so, god damn, this movie's funny. Like, it's, dude, shout outs to, okay, so this is obviously like my movie of the year. It's one of those things where people were like, I was afraid people were gonna overhype this and I wasn't gonna enjoy it. And I was like, oh no, it's better. It's better than I think people were letting on. It might be the best movie I've seen in a long time. And like, there's this, and probably one of my favorite shots I've seen since maybe Mad Max Fury Road, where all the cars are driving and then you get the people on the poles. Is the dude jumping in the air, full splits, but like ass out, ass cheeks, balls out. Gonna land on that fucking butt plug. And I gasped in the in the movie theater.
Do you know how much it takes to shock this man?
Dude, okay. You know how I make fun of people, especially because it's an American thing, for standing up and applauding in a fucking movie theater?
Yeah.
I almost did that for just that scene. I went, you fucking did it. That's the best shot I've seen. You know that whole Twitter account that's kind of pretentious and it's like the one perfect shot and it's always kind of a more moody kind of like establishing thing?
Yes.
Establishing shot? No, that's the shot.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Ass out, balls out, full splits in the air, dildo in the foreground, gonna land on that fucking thing. And that's where, and again, that fight is where you really see the raid like come out, where it's just there's a story going on in the fight as well. You know, there's, oh shit, you can see they got to do this weird thing, and then they got to go to that, and then their fighting stance changes and getting all these powers. And then just the whole thing surrounding about we need to shove something up our asses.
Yep.
Like, and then it's just hanging out for the rest of the fight.
Yep.
I couldn't do. I thought it was like the best thing I had seen. Like,
it's art. I don't know what to tell you guys.
That's cinema, man. That's where you just go, you fucking did it. You fucking.
And then to have like overstimulus and then cut to a reality where they choose not to be exposed to anything and they're just two rocks. And all the text going back and forth.
And it's beautiful.
It was actually gorgeous. I loved it.
That was actually the most emotional scene for me, is that like that in the monologue she gives to her daughter at the end.
Yeah.
In the parking lot?
Yeah. Because it's great. Flawed. She still has a weird like fat phobia thing. But it's the most real. She's being honest. It's the most honest you see her, even throughout the rest of the movie, where it's like her being real with herself, right?
Yeah,
it's 100% honesty.
So that ties into my favorite shot of this movie, which would have been the introduction. I mean, listen, there's nothing that's going to top that. I know that, but the scene that introduces what was it? Jobu Chubaki?
Jobu Chubaki, yeah.
Jobu Chubaki. Wherein she enters the building and is just like this kaleidoscope of looks and colors and just constant influx. Like, and she's like a horror. Yeah. She's both beautiful and horrifying.
She's a Looney Tunes villain.
Yeah.
That's her like she's okay. You know how we always talk about like whenever you do a versus debate between people, you can never do like a cartoon character
because they can do anything.
Because it becomes like, and if you apply it to like real world stuff, it's a horror villain.
Yes,
that's what she is.
She can turn you into confetti.
Yeah, and it's horrifying. It's like this like. Oh, and she gives that fucking stone cold stunner, but it's a full one where or not stunner, it's a fucking what's it called? Nick, what's it called? It's not the Walls of Jericho. It's where you have their head and you drop them.
Oh, it's not a skull crush. It's Pile Driver.
Oh, yeah, is it Pile Driver?
I think it's a Pile Driver.
I think it's a Pile Driver. I have to look it up. Yeah, my wrestling friends are gonna yell at me. And then just seeing the neck break because it's Pile Driver. Just seeing the neck break because that's what would actually happen to a human.
Yeah,
if it wasn't planned and staged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that whole. But then to the point you were making, to then lead up to her, like her understanding of this character is, oh, you're like a demon, and you make her gay. It's like you're really hung up on that still. Like
that. I just turned that man to confetti. You want? And again, just humor throughout, even within the horror, just keeping up with the absurdity.
Yeah,
that we can do anything. You might as well lean into the humor rather than go for just pure random, right? Like,
oh man, there's so much to say about this movie. I don't know. What do you guys want to attack next? Let's do.
Since we talked about Jamie Lee. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'll say, if we're doing Jamie Lee, then we can just talk about the cast in general.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So our main, I'm looking up the thing. I want to make sure I get their actor names right.
I know two. I want to
Michelle Yeoh,
who's in everything.
That's Michelle fucking Yeoh.
Yeah, stellar.
She's the first person who got 2 Marvel roles back to back.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, let me make sure I get the full cast.
And James fucking Hong. How'd they get him?
James Hong.
James Hong.
James Hong is playing the father?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the dude from Goonies?
No. James Hong's the grandfather.
Oh, he's the yes. The guy who's been alive forever.
Who's been alive forever and has been in everything you love.
Yes.
He's Star Trek.
Star Trek, fucking Escape from New York.
Yes.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China.
The animated Jackie Chan series.
Yes.
Okay,
hang on. The second thing I only knew about Everything Everywhere All at Once is one of the writers or directors was asked, what was it like working with James Hong? I know you're going to get asked that eventually, but like James Hong is so like fucking awesome.
Yeah.
How was it? And then she said, here's what it was like working with James Hong. On the last day of his shoot, that he was there, he came in and brought enough headshots for the entire cast and crew that worked there, and just came in and yelled, "Does anyone want autographs? I brought headshots."
Beautiful.
And every single person there got one.
Beautiful.
That's what it was like working with James Hong. Of course. The rest of the time, he was just showing videos of his kids and and he would talk about roles he did. And it's like, yeah, that's all I need to know, man.
Yep.
He's everything you want him to be. Yeah, Michelle Yeoh just fucking nailing that main role too.
Like, I mean, we talked about versatility for Jamie. Versatility that she shows is on another level. It's on another level, man.
I'm so glad they made the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Dude, that was rad.
I know that's always kind of like a fun movie to make fun of, but like growing up watching kung fu movies and me liking the kind of weird floaty style of it, like I'm just glad. I'm glad they did. She was in Kung Fu Panda. I didn't know that.
Was she?
Yeah. She's a fucking Bond girl. Like,
was she?
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Kissy Suzuki.
Waylon.
Yeah.
Tomorrow Never Dies, the 97 one.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, supposedly she's in the new Avatar movies.
Jesus.
But they haven't come out yet, so.
Okay.
Wait, she's in The Witcher? I haven't watched this. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't. No.
She's in every. I mean, the point is, she is in everything. She's a working actor. Like
she is. I don't remember
what she does.
Because she plays the wise woman in Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, but she also has a different part, I think, in Guardians of the Galaxy, where she plays a fully different character. Or it's one of the
Definitely.
outer space ones. So if it's not Guardians, it's like Thor 3. It's like one of the outer space ones.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. She's Aletta. Oh,
okay.
whoever that is, I'm not sure.
Well, there you go. I mean, this one.
Okay, so then another cast member. Do we want to go to the dad or the daughter?
I mean, let's start with Dad, then go to daughter. Because Dad,
Okay.
he was a big part of my childhood. Like,
Yes. So for those who don't know, that is the guy from Indiana Jones. That is the child.
yes.
He is speaking of 80s movies, Indiana Jones,
Goonies.
Goonies. I think he's in Encino Man.
Yes, he is.
Um,
You got this, Chris.
and but here's the thing: it was always in these roles that were kind of that would become to stereotype Asian Americans,
Yes.
even though that is just the way he talks.
Yeah, he talks the exact same as he did when he was a little boy.
Yeah. This is maybe I'm just missing out on some other movies I've seen of him. This is by far the best act. This is the best role I think I've ever seen him do.
I think he's
The best
taken a pretty
performance.
long hiatus from act because I don't.
Yeah, I remember
looked
hearing that too, right? Because a lot, I thought I heard something about all that stuff from back then, kind of really hanging down.
Yeah.
And this, holy shit, dude, he might be the best performance in this movie for me.
He fucking nails it so hard. And
Yeah.
let me just say, for people who are talking about this conversation, I'm not invested that deeply, but I will say, for those of you who think that he should be the one to take up if they ever decide to do more Indiana Jones movies, yeah, fucking give it to him.
Oh, 100%. You should.
Before you even consider talking to a LaBeouf, you better fucking call that dude first.
Yeah. I feel like this is a proof, all the proof you need.
Yeah.
Because again, every single role in this, you have to be incredibly versatile.
Yeah.
You have to be you have to be an actor. You can't just be a one note thing.
Oh no. It's such a demanding movie from everybody involved.
Yeah. And I think he may have been the best performance for me.
Oh, really?
And it touches upon a major. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what part of his what was the scene where you were like, this guy's just fucking bringing it? What was the scene where you're like, oh, okay.
So I think part of it was actually the Raccoon Cooey thing, because that seemed that actually really did seem like the realist portrayal of a middle-aged dad. Yeah. That I had seen, that I've met dads like that.
Okay.
And I would, oh shit, that's real. That's someone I know, and that's people I've met. Where he's both trying to oh no, I'm agreeing with mom too, and he's but yeah, it's called that, and this, and trying to understand, and then going in, just switching mid lines, both facial expression as well as tone.
Yeah.
And how he's delivering his lines. And that monologue he gives, that is the actual real big lesson, one of the big lessons in that movie. There's a lot of them, but one of the big lessons in that movie were just a combination of trying to reason but being brutally honest about how he's feeling, and trying to maintain that kindness, right?
Yeah.
And getting both, and you literally get to get both sides of his kind of both sides of the spectrum, where he's delivering that in a very honest, earnest, and scared way, and then just the kind of cooler, more almost noir, smoking a cigarette. This is how I honestly feel. Type deal.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. Holy shit! And he does those, and those fucking. I don't know if he's got a stuntman or if he did it himself, but he fucking nailed those action scenes.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, for me, the part of his performance that kind of killed me was, it's pretty early on, but it's the scene with him and his wife in the car.
Yeah.
And he's just I literally need to either talk to you or I can't
Yeah.
be in this marriage anymore.
Yeah.
And it's so devastating just because I think that it reflects a real, that also felt so genuine to me, and it grounds you because it's not, it's not I'm angry at you, I hate you, I want to get,
Yeah.
this is hurting me and I need to do better or help myself, and that's fucking devastating to watch. It's so, amazing. A great performance.
And again, the ultimate goal for that, as he says, is the reason I did this is not for the actual divorce. It's in hopes that we can fix it. That we can fix this.
Yeah.
No, he's a great character too. Like writing wise, that's a great character.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the daughter then. Who
I think I've only seen her in one thing before this. Anybody?
I'm actually not sure. Let me see. Unbreakable Kimmy. Oh no, she's an extra in that. Okay. She's in the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel TV series, but I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that.
Aquafina is Nora from Queens, the TV series.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have seen that. Okay.
Oh, she is in Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That might have been the only thing.
She plays Shang-Chi's normal friend from San Francisco who's in the bar when they get magicked away at the end of the movie.
Oh, is that her?
That's her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Also nails it. Again, it's a movie with 10 out of 10 performances. You couldn't have gone someone better.
Yeah. I agree.
This needed to be them. Yeah. Again, the horror aspect. Not and playing it and not getting annoying, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what happens with a lot when you do the kid as the villain. It just becomes annoying.
Yes.
But no, just the actual menacing, but also the heartbreak, the pain you see from being a daughter who just does not feel like she's being listened to at all or has anything in it.
I mean, ostensibly, what both the husband and daughter's journey is being let in, you know, and fuck, dude, so good. So
reminding the mom that we are part of your life.
Yeah.
Even though we know, and your hatred of your life has so consumed you that you're shutting out things.
Yeah.
From it, because you're so stuck in your own head, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and just that one, God, it's a great writing, great performance for the monologues too.
Everything bagel. So
everything
good.
bagel is a real nice thing. It also goes into, and then I guess now we can finally talk about some of the themes.
Okay.
It was the thing I was thinking about. Whereas my hair's all fucked up, I guess because it's so early. But it was the thing that I was thinking about when watching this is as a teenager, and I've fallen for this too, which is why I can relate to it so much. Is that nihilism is very tempting. I'm not even talking existentialist because I've made that distinction before between existentialism and nihilism.
Yes.
Where none of it does matter, and I could do all these things, but again, at the end, it's empty, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And and one of the reasons I actually had a problem with that, I thought eventually is no, I think I'm an existentialist or closest to absurdist, existentialist, but more of the positive towards the people kind of way.
Yeah.
Is that at the end of that, it's a very childish thought. Right? That none of it's connected, it just happens.
Yeah.
Where you're not realizing all these things that are actually around you and are affecting your life. And you can't be what you are without this.
Exactly.
Right? That it's all... Yes, it all exists, and it all exists randomly. But because it exists, it is connected, and it affects each other. And for whatever fucking reason, humans are still finding, despite all that, reasons to love other people and to be in close relationships with them, to feel like they're being understood.
And just finding value in what they do with their life. Like, I think I agree. The absurdist take is, I know that cosmically things don't matter, but they matter to me.
I still like the things I like.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna work for that. I'm gonna and of course that does help with the end of the day. At the end of the day, it is a small, like, it's just maybe like, we love video games, right? It's just a video game at the end of the day, man. Like, yeah, you do have a big relationship with all that, but you know, you're not going to put that above someone, right?
Exactly.
Because that's really irreplaceable. Right. Yeah, and it's kind of this going from a child, like, more childish, kind of like, it doesn't matter, so, and the movie does reflect that, where it doesn't matter, so we're gonna fucking do whatever type deal. Because what is even a fucking movie? Like, right? What is actually a movie? And just throwing all this shit at you. And then towards the end, there is more and more order in the chaos, because you're finding love for not just these characters loving each other, and like, no, they really, really do care. It's gonna take work, and it does take work to do that, because it's a two-way street.
Now, I want
in any relationship. Oh, hang on, let me finish it. Okay, stop real quick before I lose it, because I feel like I'm gonna say something.
Go.
I'm sorry, Ian. And then you see that reflected in the movie itself, where all the chaos, all the funny chaos you saw at the beginning now has meaning. It's now like, oh, I'm gonna help this guy get his raccoon back. I'm gonna help this guy they're gonna find love. Oh, here's the perfume, creepy laundromat dude.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, I can't believe this movie didn't fly apart, because they bring all that weird shit back at the end. Every single thing that was talked about for like a second even is a solution to the problem they're telling you, or they're posturing to you.
Yeah.
Because it is just kindness to bring that back, and to bring things people love and help them.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it better. It's such a weird, it's crazy. And like, it's a positive thing that doesn't feel shoved down your throat, and it's like, and it's
a logical conclusion. It's a logical.
It's making a kumbaya type deal, right? Like, where people are like, oh, the answer is kindness. You got heal. No, this is the only logical answer to that problem.
Yeah.
Because like, embracing that kind of like nihilistic chaos means taking all like the worst of it and saying there is no love, but there is, and we know that's true. And nihilism is kind of just used to shove that aside, because we're too scared to become vulnerable to that. It's easier to be cold than it is to be warm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my big takeaway. There's little other stuff with the parents, like how parenting actually works, generational trauma, going with that, as you can measure through the characters.
Yeah, there's some good touching on that as well. Yeah. I agree.
But I want to hear more of your guys' thoughts, because I just went through a long rant.
I wanted to ask, kind of, you basically touched on it, but what did you guys think of the actual visual of the anti-fight scene? The mending scene, I guess? The healing
Fantastic.
scene? Where she essentially runs up a staircase and just fixes people.
Yeah.
And brings kind of closure to these people's issues. I was blown away.
Yeah.
I
think it's a great acknowledgement of like both what will make these people happy is always different. It's different for everyone, and they're sometimes bigger and sometimes smaller than you would think. But there's always something, right, that you're actually hung up on.
Yeah.
And while it won't fix everything in your life, it's going to make you happier, because that's the one thing that's just fucking weighing you down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It's granted, and it's because of the visual, it makes it seem easier than what it actually is. But But it is like that's a good lesson, I think, in that you gotta give empathy to people too. You gotta understand actually what's driving them or like what's dragging them down and making them like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
empathy.
shout out to that character that's just a dude in a duster with a wolf shirt and a fedora and a katana blade that shows up, I think, twice.
Yep.
Oh, but yeah, go ahead, Ian. Sorry, I think I cut you off.
No, I was just going to say, the idea of empathy being the thing that builds us forward, gets us away from. I mean, and the idea of ostensibly the difference between the father and the daughter in the story is the father sees this, removal, this cutoff, and he's the one that reaches out and tries to open connection, and then on a meta level, another version of her husband is the one who reaches out and opens connection in a different way.
It's literally the one they all view as useless. Like,
and go ahead.
I was gonna say, and it's a good point he brings. Why would he be able to survive that long if this world is what you say it is, right? And we believe, and we'll believe it to be true. Then how is he alive? That means there's a solution. That means he's figured something out that that the rest of them can't see.
Exactly. And then to have, again, like the metaphor become reality of daughter has learned from her mother, essentially, okay, I can't have this relationship, so maybe the best thing is to cut these people out of my life. Maybe it is best to just shut down. And so that is then represented with a literal black hole.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, just bring everything into a singularity where there's nothing anymore.
Yeah.
Or everything is nothing. Or everything is one thing.
Now, I will say, granted, there are situations, though, where that is the best solution, is to cut someone out.
True. But you have to actually have...
Oh, go ahead.
You have to have the conversation. Like, you have to actually, like, the movie, I think, is advocating that if there is work to be done, you have to try that before you do that.
Well, not only that, but at their core, these people actually really do care for each other and want the best for each other. It's not the thing of control or like abuse, right?
Right.
Granted, I would argue it is some form of emotional abuse, but it is things that could be worked, because if at deep down there is you realize, this person doesn't actually have your best interest or care for you, then that's when I would argue, cutting them out's the best thing you can do.
Yes.
But this is specifically, this is just a family who have kind of are starting to break apart, even though they really do love being with each other. Like, and they do like it. And and you're allowed glimpses of that both in movies. You, at the beginning, they're watching a movie
and happy.
And the second time you see them all together really happy in a room, well, maybe a little less for the mom, is when they're talking about a movie.
Yeah.
So that's why I also think there's like a meta narrative thing on the movie, which I could probably also go into, but that would also be like a really long time.
Well, I want to ask Nick, what do you think about the soundtrack to this film? We haven't touched on that at all.
I think
Music Man.
It's everything else. I don't
brush off that their degree.
But there's one thing, I don't have one, but this one thing that we want you to talk about. Okay, the music, good. It make brain feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely an achievement of itself. Like, there's so much. I couldn't even begin to process what the editing on this would look like, because I think it would just
it's one editor too.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I do needs like all the awards, because that's a technical achievement. Because I mean, if stuff was out of sync from all the like crazy beats and stuff going on, it would probably fall apart real fast.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just, again, it's a weird chaotic dance that's, again, must be the most heavily choreographed thing. Like, You know?
Yeah. I just wonder, like, at least like for the music, did they would have to have the visuals first to know exactly what they're doing, because since they're using the same track sometimes for different scenes, so and it's completely different context. So yeah, I'm just so curious what the process would be.
Yeah, it does seem like the music would be reactionary, right, to the movie.
Yeah.
Because they're also, and you're right. They're also doing sick remixes, like we're taking these genre mashups.
There's so
for
many.
instance, she's doing like a classical song. Like I think it's called. I forget what it's actually called, but it's a type of ballad.
Mhm.
And then it's mixed with these beats that are going on for a fight, like, and it's fucking rad. Like,
Well, yeah, like that. The movie is scored essentially to like so many of the fight scenes are edited, and the rhythm follows the motion. Perfect, beautifully,
as it should. Like a good kung fu movie has music that follows the action, right? Like, because the action itself, like you said, it's got to be rhythmic.
Yeah,
it is a dance. Like the kung fu in a movie has to be a choreographed dance.
Yes.
Oh man, Nick, what else? Because I feel like we haven't given you a chance to say more on the movie.
I want you to have the final word on everything, everywhere, all at once.
How about this? Oh, hey, how about this? Because we gave our favorite scenes. What was your favorite scene? Was it really? Yeah. Was it the monkey thing?
The monkey. No, it's up.
I don't blame you, dude. I was belly laughing. Like,
oh man, you know what? It might be the hill scene with the two rocks.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's really
ironically enough. I think because of just like the crazy juxtaposition and like how much they were able, like, because that could have been a boring scene, but the fact that they were able to overstimulate everybody and the audience and just cut to a scene with none and to be it just heart wrenching and also like you're kind of like there's no distraction of life and now they're just essentially boiled down to their essence.
Yeah. And what's cool, that scene also plays into the thing of like nihilism isn't actually the best way to approach life, it's not a very good and sound way to interpret the universe. Because at the end, it's like, well, I was hoping someone would take me out of this or understand.
Yeah.
But at least, and this is where I go to be alone. But at the end of the day, people don't want to actually be alone all the time.
Yeah. You need other people.
Yeah. It's, well, people definitely need different amounts of social interaction, and everyone's got their own limits. Everyone's got their own amount they need to interact with people. Humans are social creatures, and that's what makes it kind of unique. Or that's what's helped. If you want to think about it like in a scientific sense, it is part of the reason that we've like achieved this much in evolutionary standards.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to go the hard science route.
We crave that connection and building on it. Definitely.
Yeah. It's such a like it's crazy because I think the way it was put best was this movie I can't categorize in a genre because it's every genre. It's everything, therefore it's no genre.
Yeah.
It's everything, everywhere, all at once.
Oh,
fucking nailed it. Robert Egbert over here. Look at me.
John Tack and
okay,
all works out.
So let's end this podcast in on a real good one because their favorite scene. Oh wait, Nick. Anything else you had to say? Sorry.
Yes.
No, I was gonna say like at the end of the day, it's a very. But yeah, the glue that sticks it all together is that the movie is a very personal, like very very emotional, like
it's hard
message about family.
Yeah,
and I think that's really how.
Go ahead.
I'll say I think that's just how I was able to stick it all together.
Yeah,
mostly.
The heart is what glues it, right? Like at the end of the day, it's a song. It's a song. It's a maybe it's a movie. It's a movie about mother and daughter reconciling their own emotions.
Yeah.
And as well as the husband, and realizing that they're both flawed creatures.
And-
Like it's something I've talked about before, but one of the things that helps with, like, especially if you had weird growing up, a weird relationship with your parents, is you got to realize, like, they're human. They're not these things. They're going in with very little tools to the chaos as parenting.
Yeah.
And it's not an excuse for every bad thing they did, but it does bring a lot of things to light. And makes a lot more sense for how they act.
And kind of ask you to look not only at them with compassion, but complexity. That they are just as a complicated person as you are. Yeah.
But yeah. All right, so let's end this on a little bit of a funner note. Favorite fight scene, and I'm just gonna forgo that. Like, yes, the butt plug fight scene is my favorite one, but I'll try to do a different one from that.
Okay.
But I want to hear from Nick. What was your favorite fight scene?
Oh, I guess besides that,
Besides the butt plug one, dude, it's so good.
It really is.
It is good. The entrance is fantastic. God, there's so many. I think,
is it Jamie Lee Curtis doing the backbreaker?
Maybe.
Is the way that's shot.
They're all like, they could in their own right be the best one. But
let me throw one out that I'm very fond of.
Go.
It's when we finally see the Alpha universe for the first time, and you see Jobjubaki fighting chasing a van down. Yeah. That whole scene feels so Power Rangers to me. Like her outfit, the filming style, it feels like we're watching a Saban.
Yeah, like a little Super Sentai.
Yeah, exactly.
Out in a quarry.
Exactly. Super cheap location to roll a van over. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Okay. How about, because I already mentioned the wrestling shit with Jamie Lee Curtis. I thought that was some of the best, like the coolest fucking. I do appreciate the shield, the riot shield.
Oh yeah,
with the spinning sign, because that felt like real. That felt like Jackie Chan to me too.
Where he's fighting off 5 guys at once. Yeah.
The 10-man. I think it's actually called like a 10-man beatdown. Is in kung fu movies. Because Ip Man has it. Bruce Lee's Enter Dragon has it. And it's that with the shield, and it just flows so well with everything.
Yeah.
Also, the right before of them all doing weird shit, and one dude's like humping a lamp.
Yep.
While someone's singing Agave Maria, and then the other dude's scanning copies of his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
It's good stuff. It's
good. It's also like unbelievable how well they keep up the action too throughout the movie.
Oh yeah, it's
so hard to be bored in this movie.
And each time you kind of think, okay, how are they going to escalate?
Yeah, am I going to get to breathe? Too? Yeah. It's a wild ride. It's so good. It deserves everything and more. Like, again, the only way I can describe it is this is a fucking movie.
Yeah, man.
It's one of the best I've seen in a long time. I can't wait to see it again. I want to see it again. Like, it's so fucking good.
So if you haven't, go see everything, everywhere, all at once.
How about you, Nick? Any final words before I cut out?
That was a good movie.
Well,
it was very good. I enjoyed the movie. I ate my popcorn, and I paid the extra
3D
money.
12 and approves now.
Yes, I gave the extra. I gave the extra 40 cents for the large drink. Didn't get a refill.
It pleases 3D Squelton. Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, I give this 2 thumbs way up. All right. Good night, everybody.
Fare thee well. Bye.
Yeah.
Huh? I think you're getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah, your first plan should be getting by us!
Though you call yourselves bladers, you don't know the real truth about bay blading. There is a tremendous power hidden within bays. Since ancient times, the existence of bays can be found in moments throughout history. The power of bay blades have been used to change the course of rivers and oceans. They have been used to defeat many armies and create huge empires.
You wouldn't be so tough without that helmet, little brother.
You're on, Proto Man. Plasma power! Missed me again, number 1, son.
But I won't miss this time.
Oh no! He's gonna blast President Lincoln!
Ha! I knew you'd risk yourself for Mr. Lincoln.
Simpson scandal update. Homer sleeps nude in an oxygen tent, which he believes gives him sexual powers.
Hey, that's a half-truth.
Shara, will you grant me one more wish? I wish for a mountain of handkerchiefs. Now, just let yourself cry, as much as you need to. You'll have plenty of handkerchiefs to help you through it.
Well, sir, treason season started early this year as a nuclear sub was hijacked by local man Homer Simpson.
Oh my God! I told him that photo would come back to haunt him.
Could Homer Simpson be a communist? His father spoke out on his behalf.
My Homer is not a communist. He may be a liar, a pig, an idiot, a communist, but he is not a porn star.
Hero call! This trap card lets me pick a monster and put him on the top of my deck. And I choose this. Elemental hero, Neos. Not so fast. Thanks to my state select spell, he won't be there for long. Because now I get to shuffle your deck. So how do you like this? Bada bing! I'll shuffle these boys real good.
でも先輩結構みんなに優しいじゃん。なんか声かけてくれたりとか。ああ、 あ、でも香水もらったらなんかわかんないくれるって。嘘好きすぎやのすっごい恥ずかしい。うわ明日バイトなんだけど。
いつでもそこにマクドナルド。マジで
Iris!
Sarah,
Hang in there, Iris.
please, stay away from Replifos. Let's live together. In a world where only Reploids exist.
Iris, there's no world just for Reploid. It's only a fantasy.
Yes, I know, but I wanted to believe it. I wanted to live in a world where only Reploids exist. With you.
Iris! 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 Ah! No, this isn't happening! There's no reason for me to go on. What? What am I fighting for?
Now it's time for the Pizza Head Show.
Hey everybody, I'm done trick-or-treating and now I'm gonna go for a stuffed crust pizza at Pizza Hut. Yay!
Not yet, Pizza Head. There's one more place to go.
I don't think anyone's home.
Sure there is.
Hello, trick-or-treat. Interesting hieroglyphics on this pizza.
Quick, Pizza Head, let's go upstairs.
Hey, who is here anyway?
It's your host, Count Steve.
Oh, nice place. You gotta go. I wanna go to Pizza Hut now.
The Count will be happy to give you a lift.
Oh, hey, put me down! Put me down!
See you next time.
I know a place that's peaceful and quiet. A place where animals play. It's called the forest, but every year we start forest fires. A careless match, a cigarette, and poof, fire. So the next time you're in the forest, be extra careful, okay?
If you knew it was me, would you have listened? Iつでもそこにマクドナルド。
Will you hold it down out there? You guys are always fighting!
Enid Clinton, we've got business with your husband. What? John? Hal Jordan, another time shift. I'm up to speed. Carry on. No booby traps. At least none that my ring can detect.
Make up your mind, would you?
뭐냐?
Have you noticed any change in Bart?
New glasses?
No, he looks like something might be disturbing him.
Probably misses his old glasses.
I guess we could get more involved in Bart's activities, but then I'd be afraid of smothering him.
Yeah, and then we'd get the chair.
That's not what I meant.
It was, Marge, admit it.
What's so special about Splinter?
Yo, dude, it's so. Like Splinter's our dad, you know? I mean, what's so special about your dad?
Pepsi for TV game.
64 slices of American cheese. 64. 63. 2. 1.
Have you been up all night eating cheese?
I think I'm blind.
What? Good day to you.
My mother risked her life for me. And now you, too. I should have saved you. I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light!
am invincible! Get back here, Shocker! Shocker! You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
I defeated you once, and I shall do it again!
No, Magneto. I let you win before, in order to learn your plan, to trap you. But now the victory belongs to the Fantastic Four.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power? No mere weapon can stop me. With but a gesture, I can destroy it, or turn it against you. Behold! I'll make it leap from your hand, and make you its target. Now!
Not this time, Magneto. This time I'm fighting for real.
It's impossible! It cannot be! Nothing can defy my magnetic power!
The Fantastic Four can. You're finished, Magneto. Surrender. You have no other choice.
Why? Why will the gun not obey me? My power is gone. I'm helpless. Magnetism. It was my greatest weapon. Okay, Richards. We'll take care of him now. First, tell me, how did you do it? How did you take away my power?
I didn't, Magneto. I merely tricked you.
You lie. I couldn't control your gun. You made me lose my magnetism.
You're wrong. I just guessed that you'd overlook one simple thing. Your magnetic power only works on metal, like all magnets. But my gun isn't real. I made it out of wood, specially to fool you.
Wood? A wooden gun?
That's why your power didn't work. And it's why you're a prisoner of the police now. Take him away, men.
A wooden gun. He tricked me with a wooden gun.
We can't bust heads like we used to, but we have our ways.
Oh, you got it.
One trick is to tell them stories that don't go anywhere. Like the time I caught the ferry over to Shelbyville. I needed a new heel for my shoe. So I decided to go to Morganville, which is what they called Shelbyville in those days. So I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time. Now, to take the ferry cost a nickel, and in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them. Give me 5 bees for a quarter, you'd say. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. The important thing was that I had an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time. They didn't have white onions because of the war. The only thing you could get was those big yellow ones.